Ever wonder why your motivation fizzles out? The audiobook, Infinite Drive, Your Blueprint for Endless Motivation, reveals the secret to unstoppable drive. Discover how to tap into limitless motivation, conquer procrastination, and achieve your wildest dreams. Without these strategies, you risk watching opportunities slip away and settling for less than you deserve. Don't let another day go by feeling stuck. Transform your life with the power of infinite drive. Before we go on, I invite you to download the free bundle, which contains the ebook version of this book and an executive summary of all the chapters with the key takeaways. Studies show that engaging with content through multiple formats significantly enhances learning and retention. Click on the first link in the description to claim your free bundle now and maximize your learning potential. Now it's free, but it won't be for long, so make sure to grab it while you can. Chapter 1: The Inner Drive. What separates those who achieve their dreams from those who give up? Why do some people seem to have an endless well of energy and enthusiasm for their pursuits, while others struggle to find the motivation to even begin? The answer lies in understanding and harnessing the power of your inner drive, the fundamental force that propels you towards your goals and keeps you moving forward, even when the path becomes challenging. Motivation is the invisible fuel that powers human achievement. It's the spark that turns intentions into actions, transforming abstract dreams into tangible realities. Without motivation, even the most brilliant ideas remain trapped in the realm of what if, and the most ambitious goals wither on the vine of inaction. But with a strong inner drive, ordinary individuals can accomplish extraordinary feats, overcoming obstacles that once seemed insurmountable and pushing the boundaries of what's possible. At its core, motivation is the internal energy or desire that initiates and sustains action toward a goal. It's the voice in your head that says, "Let's do this," when you're tempted to procrastinate, and the fire in your belly that keeps you working late into the night to finish an important project. Motivation is what gets you out of bed in the morning to hit the gym, even when your warm blankets beckon you to stay. It's the force that drives inventors to keep tinkering after countless failed attempts, and the passion that fuels artists to pour their hearts onto the canvas. But not all motivation is created equal. To truly understand how to cultivate lasting drive, we must first distinguish between two fundamental types of motivation: intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic motivation comes from within. It's the pure joy of doing something for its own sake, because the activity itself is rewarding, enjoyable, or aligns with your values. When you're intrinsically motivated, the journey is as important as the destination. Think of a musician who practices for hours, not because they're chasing fame or fortune, but because they genuinely love the process of creating music. Or consider a scientist who spends years researching an obscure topic, driven by an insatiable curiosity to understand how the world works. Extrinsic motivation, on the other hand, comes from external factors. It's about doing something to gain a reward or avoid a punishment. This could be working solely for a paycheck, studying just to get good grades, or exercising only to win a competition. While extrinsic motivators can be powerful in the short term, they often come with a hidden cost. When the external reward is the primary focus, the activity itself can become a chore, draining the inherent enjoyment and satisfaction from the process. Understanding the distinction between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation is crucial because it forms the foundation of building lasting drive. While external rewards can kickstart action and provide a useful boost, they often need to be continually increased or repeated to maintain motivation. Moreover, an over-reliance on extrinsic motivators can actually undermine your intrinsic enjoyment of an activity. Consider a child who loves to read. If their parents start offering money for every book completed, the child might initially read more. But over time, something insidious happens. The act of reading becomes associated with the external reward rather than the inherent pleasure of losing oneself in a good story. When the rewards stop, the motivation to read may plummet, even below the original baseline. This phenomenon, known as the over-justification effect, highlights the potential dangers of leaning too heavily on external incentives. The goal, then, is to shift as much as possible towards intrinsic motivation, finding personal meaning and enjoyment in your pursuits. When you're intrinsically motivated, you're not dependent on fleeting external incentives. You have a renewable source of energy and drive that comes from within, making you far more likely to persist in the face of challenges and setbacks. But how exactly does motivation work on a psychological level? To answer this, we need to delve into the fascinating world of human psychology and explore the underlying mechanisms that fuel our drive. One of the most influential theories in this realm is self-determination theory, developed by psychologists Edward Deci and Richard Ryan. This theory proposes that humans have three basic psychological needs that, when met, create the conditions for optimal motivation and well-being. These needs are autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Autonomy is the feeling that you have choice and control over your actions. When you feel autonomous, you're acting in alignment with your values and interests rather than feeling controlled by external pressures. Competence is the sense that you're effective and capable in your actions, that you're growing and improving. Relatedness is the feeling of connection to others or to a larger purpose beyond yourself. When these three needs are satisfied, intrinsic motivation flourishes. Consider how this might play out in the context of exercise. A person will be far more motivated to work out if they choose an activity they genuinely enjoy, autonomy, see themselves getting stronger or more skilled over time, competence, and perhaps exercise with friends or as part of a team working towards a shared goal, relatedness. Another crucial factor in motivation is your belief in your ability to succeed, combined with how much you value the outcome. This concept, known as expectancy value theory, explains why some goals energize us while others leave us cold. If you strongly believe, "I can do this," and you truly desire the outcome, you'll be highly motivated to take action. Conversely, if you doubt your ability to achieve something or don't particularly care about the result, your drive will be low. This interplay between belief and desire explains why two people can have vastly different levels of motivation for the same task. One person might attack a challenging project with gusto, fueled by confidence in their skills and a clear vision of the benefits success will bring. Another might drag their feet, held back by self-doubt or a lack of connection to the goal's importance. Emotions and brain chemistry also play a significant role in motivation. When you anticipate a reward or achievement, your brain releases dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and motivation. This creates a sense of excitement and an urge to act. It's why visualizing success or giving yourself small rewards along the way can boost your drive. You're literally training your brain to associate action with positive feelings. Understanding these psychological underpinnings of motivation is powerful because it gives you leverage points to work with. By consciously cultivating autonomy, competence, and relatedness in your pursuits, by building your self-efficacy and clarifying the value of your goals, and by harnessing the power of positive emotions and anticipation, you can create the conditions for strong, sustained motivation. However, it's crucial to recognize that motivation isn't a constant, ever-present force. Even with the best psychological foundation, your drive will naturally ebb and flow over time. Understanding this fluctuation, what we might call the motivation wave, is key to maintaining long-term momentum. At the start of a new goal or project, motivation is often sky-high. There's excitement, novelty, and a clear vision of the amazing end result, all of which fuel enthusiasm. You might find yourself brimming with energy, eager to get started and make progress. This initial spark is powerful, but it's also fleeting. As time goes on, the initial excitement inevitably wears off. The day-to-day reality of working towards your goal sets in. Challenges appear that you didn't anticipate. Tasks that once felt fresh now become routine or perhaps turn out to be harder than you expected. Progress may slow down or plateau. This is when motivation naturally dips, entering what we might call the grind phase. It's during this dip that many people give up on their goals. The contrast between their current feelings and the initial rush of excitement can be disheartening. But here's the crucial thing to understand. This dip is normal. It happens to everyone, on every significant journey. Recognizing this fact alone can be immensely reassuring. You're not failing or doing something wrong just because your motivation has taken a hit. The good news is that motivation can and does rise again. You might hit a milestone that reinvigorates your enthusiasm, or you could have a breakthrough that solves a persistent problem, reigniting your passion for the project. These rises and rebounds are natural parts of the motivation cycle. The key to long-term success, then, isn't to rely on feeling motivated 100% of the time. That's an unrealistic expectation that sets you up for disappointment. Instead, the goal is to develop strategies to push through the low points, to keep making progress even when your emotional drive is at a low ebb. This is where the tools and tactics you'll learn throughout this book become invaluable. To navigate the motivation wave effectively, it's helpful to be aware of common motivation killers, factors that tend to drain our drive over time. By recognizing these in advance, you can prepare for them and develop countermeasures. One major motivation killer is a lack of visible progress. When you're working hard but don't see tangible results or receive positive feedback, it's easy to feel discouraged. This often happens when you're tackling a big, long-term goal. The finish line seems so far away that it's hard to appreciate the small steps you're taking. You might be making progress, but without clear markers of advancement, your motivation can stall. Another common drive drainer is boredom and monotony. Doing the same thing day in and day out without variety or new challenges can lead to a sense of stagnation. The task no longer stimulates you intellectually or emotionally, so you start finding reasons to procrastinate or avoid it altogether. Relying too heavily on external rewards can also backfire. If you started a habit or pursued a goal primarily because of an external incentive, like praise from others or a material reward, what happens when that incentive is removed? Your drive may collapse because you never developed a genuine internal reason for the activity. This illustrates the danger of leaning too heavily on extrinsic motivation. It's like a crutch that, when kicked away, can leave you struggling to stand. Perhaps the most insidious motivation killer is a negative mindset. Self-doubt, harsh self-criticism, and pessimistic thinking can sap your drive quicker than almost anything else. If you're constantly telling yourself, "This is too hard, I'm not good enough," or "I'll probably fail anyway," it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your actions, or lack thereof, will align with these negative beliefs, creating a downward spiral of decreased motivation and effort. By understanding these common pitfalls, you can be proactive in addressing them. You can build systems to track and celebrate small progress. You can introduce variety and progressive challenges to stave off boredom. You can work on shifting towards intrinsic motivators rather than relying solely on external rewards. And crucially, you can develop a more constructive mindset that supports your efforts rather than undermining them. As we conclude this exploration of the inner workings of motivation, it's clear that cultivating a strong, sustainable drive is both an art and a science. It requires understanding the psychological principles at play, recognizing the natural cycles of motivation, and developing strategies to work with, rather than against, these fundamental aspects of human nature. The foundation of infinite drive lies in tapping into intrinsic motivation, finding personal meaning and genuine enjoyment in your pursuits. When you care deeply about what you're doing, when the activity itself is rewarding beyond any external outcome, you'll naturally find ways to keep going even when the path gets tough. But understanding is just the first step. Knowledge without action is like a car without fuel. It might look good, but it won't take you anywhere. That's why the rest of this book is dedicated to practical, actionable strategies for building and maintaining your motivation. You'll learn how to set compelling goals that pull you forward, how to build supportive habits that keep you on track even when motivation dips, and how to strengthen your mindset to overcome self-doubt and negativity. You'll discover techniques for harnessing the power of your environment, both physical and social, to support your drive. You'll explore methods for quickly rekindling your motivation when it starts to flag, and strategies for pushing through the inevitable slumps that occur on any worthwhile journey. Most importantly, you'll develop a personalized toolkit for sustaining your motivation over the long haul. Because here's the truth. Motivation isn't something you either have or don't have. It's a skill that can be developed, a muscle that can be strengthened, a fire that can be stoked and tended. As you turn the page to the next chapter, you're embarking on a journey to unlock the full potential of your inner drive. You're about to discover how to tap into a wellspring of motivation so deep and powerful that it can carry you towards your dreams with unstoppable momentum. Are you ready to ignite your infinite drive? Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to Grow to the Top and activate notifications to receive more self-improvement tips that will supercharge your growth. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It really helps the channel grow. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2, Finding Your Why. Have you ever felt like you're going through the motions, pursuing goals that don't truly excite you? Or perhaps you've achieved something you thought you wanted, only to feel oddly empty once you got there. If so, you're not alone. Many people find themselves chasing objectives that look good on paper, but fail to ignite a lasting fire within. The solution to this common dilemma lies in uncovering something both simple and profound: your why. But what exactly is this elusive why, and how can finding it transform your motivation from a fleeting spark into an enduring blaze? That's the journey we're about to embark on in this chapter. We'll explore how to dig deep and discover the core purpose that drives you, and then use that knowledge to set goals so compelling that they pull you forward with magnetic force. At its heart, your why is the underlying reason that propels you forward. It's the meaningful mission or passionate pursuit that gives your actions weight and significance beyond the immediate outcome. Your why answers questions like, why do I really want to achieve this goal? What impact or fulfillment will it bring, not just to me, but perhaps to others or the world at large? Uncovering your why is a process of introspection and self-discovery. It requires peeling back layers of societal expectations, fleeting desires, and surface-level ambitions to reach the bedrock of what truly matters to you. This isn't always an easy journey, but it's one that can revolutionize your approach to goal setting and, by extension, your entire life. Think about a time when you were completely absorbed in an activity, losing track of time because you were so engrossed. What was it about that experience that captivated you? Or consider a moment when you felt a surge of pride or fulfillment. What exactly made that achievement meaningful? These are clues that can lead you towards your core purpose. One powerful way to start uncovering your why is through reflective writing. Set aside some quiet time with a journal and consider prompts like these. What would I regret not doing in my life if I knew my time was limited? When do I feel most alive and fulfilled? What change do I want to see in the world or in my community? As you write, don't censor yourself or worry about practicality. Let your thoughts flow freely, and you may be surprised by the patterns and themes that emerge. It's important to note that your why should evoke genuine emotion and excitement. If thinking about a particular goal or direction in life makes you feel truly inspired or moved, that's a strong indication it's connected to your core purpose. For instance, the drive to start a business might come from two very different places. One person might be motivated purely by the prospect of making money, while another might be passionate about solving a problem they deeply care about. The latter is much more likely to sustain motivation through the inevitable challenges of entrepreneurship. As you delve deeper into this process, you'll likely find that your why is intimately connected to your personal values. These are the principles and ideals that you hold most dear, the guideposts that inform your decisions and shape your character. Identifying these core values is another crucial step in aligning your goals with your deepest motivations. Take a moment to consider what you value most in life. Is it creativity and self-expression? The pursuit of knowledge and continuous learning? Perhaps it's family bonds and nurturing relationships, or maybe the thrill of adventure and new experiences. There's no right or wrong answer here. What matters is that these values resonate authentically with you. Once you have a clearer sense of your values, it's time to examine how well your current goals align with them. This can be an eye-opening exercise. You might discover that some of your pursuits are perfectly in sync with your core values, while others feel oddly disconnected. For example, if you value family and community deeply, a goal of starting a business that allows you to work from home and contribute to local causes will likely feel far more motivating than one that requires constant travel and takes you away from loved ones. This alignment between values and goals is the key to unlocking intrinsic motivation, the kind of drive that comes from within rather than relying on external rewards or pressures. When your goals stem directly from your values, you're much more likely to find the journey itself rewarding, not just the end result. This intrinsic motivation is far more powerful and sustainable than its extrinsic counterpart. Consider the difference between someone who chooses a career solely because of its high salary potential versus someone who enters a field because they're genuinely fascinated by the work and believe in its importance. The first person might find themselves struggling to stay motivated when the job becomes challenging or monotonous. The second, however, is more likely to persevere through difficulties because their work aligns with their personal interests and values. This isn't to say that extrinsic factors like financial rewards aren't important. They certainly can play a role in our motivations and life choices. However, when external incentives are the only driving force, motivation tends to be fragile and short-lived. The most resilient and enduring motivation comes from a combination of intrinsic passion and extrinsic benefits. As you reflect on your current goals and aspirations, be honest with yourself about their origins. Are they truly yours, or have you adopted them because of societal expectations, family pressure, or a vague sense that you should want them? If you find that some of your goals don't align well with your values and authentic interests, it might be time to consider reframing or even replacing them. This process of aligning your goals with your core purpose and values is not about abandoning ambition or settling for less. On the contrary, it's about setting yourself up for greater success and fulfillment by ensuring that your pursuits genuinely resonate with who you are and what matters most to you. Now that we've explored the importance of finding your why and aligning your goals with your values, let's dive into the practical process of setting meaningful, motivating goals. This is where we bridge the gap between abstract purpose and concrete action. The first step in this process is creating a compelling vision for your future. Imagine yourself 5 or 10 years from now, living a life that fully embodies your values and purpose. What have you accomplished? How do you spend your days? Who are you surrounded by? And what impact are you having on the world around you? Allow yourself to dream big and paint a vivid mental picture of this ideal future. From this broad vision, you can begin to extract specific, long-term goals. These should be ambitious enough to excite you, yet concrete enough that you can clearly visualize achieving them. Perhaps you see yourself having written a book that touches thousands of lives, or having built a thriving business that provides valuable solutions to your community. Maybe you picture yourself crossing the finish line of a marathon, or fluently conversing in a new language as you explore a foreign country. For each of these long-term goals, it's crucial to reconnect with your why. Ask yourself, why do I truly want to achieve this? How does it align with my core values and overall purpose? If the answers to these questions feel personally meaningful and energizing, you're on the right track. If not, it might be worth reconsidering or refining the goal until it resonates more deeply with your authentic self. Once you have a set of long-term goals that align with your purpose, the next step is to break them down into more manageable pieces. This is where many people falter in their goal-setting process. They have a grand vision but struggle to translate it into actionable steps, leading to overwhelm and inaction. The key is to create a series of milestones and sub-goals that form a bridge between your current reality and your ultimate objective. Let's say your goal is to write a book within a year. A milestone might be to complete 3 chapters in 3 months. This can be further broken down into weekly targets, such as writing a certain number of words each day or completing specific sections of research. These smaller goals should follow the SMART framework: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Instead of a vague intention like exercise more, a SMART goal would be run for 30 minutes 3 times a week for the next month. This clarity helps focus your efforts and provides clear benchmarks for success. It's also important to write your goals down. The act of putting pen to paper or fingers to keyboard helps solidify your intentions and increases your commitment to achieving them. Consider creating a dedicated goal board or document that you can review regularly to stay focused and motivated. Visualization is another powerful tool for reinforcing your commitment to your goals. Take time to vividly imagine yourself achieving each milestone and ultimately reaching your big picture objectives. Engage all your senses in this mental rehearsal. If you're training for a marathon, for instance, imagine the feeling of your feet hitting the pavement, the sound of the crowd cheering, the sight of the finish line approaching, and the surge of pride and accomplishment as you cross it. This kind of visualization not only boosts your motivation, but also helps your brain create neural pathways that support your success. While much of this goal-setting process is internal, there can be significant benefits to making some form of public commitment to your objectives. Sharing your goals with trusted friends or family members, or even posting about them on social media if you're comfortable doing so, can increase your sense of accountability. Knowing that others are aware of your intentions can provide an extra push to follow through, especially on days when your motivation might be flagging. As you set and pursue your goals, it's important to keep the focus on intrinsic motivation. Often, we default to setting goals in terms of external metrics, a certain salary, a specific weight on the scale, a particular title or accolade. While these can be useful benchmarks, they don't always tap into our deeper sources of motivation. Instead, try to frame your goals in ways that emphasize personal growth, mastery, or positive impact. For example, rather than focusing solely on losing a certain number of pounds, you might set a goal to develop a healthier lifestyle by exercising regularly and learning to prepare nutritious meals I enjoy. This shift in focus from pure outcome to the process of improvement and learning can make the journey itself more intrinsically rewarding. Similarly, setting goals around skill development and mastery can be highly motivating. Aiming to become fluent in a new language or to master the art of public speaking taps into our innate desire for competence and growth. Each small improvement becomes a source of satisfaction, fueling further effort and progress. If it aligns with your values, consider incorporating an element of contribution or service to others in your goals. For instance, if you're a writer, you might set a goal to create a book that inspires and empowers at least 1,000 readers to pursue their dreams. While the number provides a concrete target, the real motivational fuel comes from the desire to make a positive impact on others' lives. Another important concept in goal setting is what researchers call self-concordance. This refers to the degree to which your goals feel authentically aligned with your interests, values, and sense of self. Highly self-concordant goals feel like a natural expression of who you are or who you want to become, rather than obligations imposed from outside. To check for self-concordance, ask yourself, is this goal truly mine? Does it reflect my authentic interests and values, or am I pursuing it mainly for others' approval or because I think I should? If a goal feels forced or disconnected from your true self, motivation will likely be a constant struggle. On the other hand, when a goal feels genuinely self-concordant, motivation tends to flow more naturally and sustainably. If you find that some of your current goals aren't as self-concordant as they could be, don't be afraid to adjust them. For instance, if you've set a goal to attend law school because of family expectations, but your heart isn't in it, consider exploring alternative paths that might better align with your passions while still satisfying the underlying desire for a successful, impactful career. Remember The aim here isn't to avoid challenge or to only do what feels easy. Meaningful goals often require hard work and pushing beyond your comfort zone. The key is to ensure that the effort feels worthwhile because it's in service of something you genuinely care about. As we bring our exploration of purposeful goal setting full circle, let's return to the power of having a clear, compelling why behind everything you do. When you have a deep understanding of your core purpose, you carry with you a mental fuel tank that never runs dry. Even on the toughest days, when obstacles seem insurmountable or progress feels painfully slow, you can reconnect with your why and reignite your drive. Consider crafting a personal mission statement, a concise articulation of your purpose and key goals. This might be a short paragraph or even a single powerful sentence that captures the essence of what you're striving for and why it matters. For example, my mission is to leverage technology to create solutions that make people's daily lives easier and more joyful, while constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible in my field. Having this mission statement as a touchstone can be incredibly grounding and motivating. You might choose to read it every morning as part of your daily routine, or turn to it whenever you feel your motivation wavering. It serves as a reminder of the bigger picture, helping you push through short-term challenges by connecting them to your larger purpose. It's important to note that your sense of purpose isn't necessarily static. As you grow, gain new experiences, and move through different phases of life, your passions and priorities may evolve. This is natural and healthy. The key is to remain open to refining and updating your why as you continue to learn and change. Regularly revisiting and reassessing your goals in light of your evolving sense of purpose ensures that you maintain a strong, authentic connection between your daily actions and your deepest values. This ongoing alignment is the secret to sustaining motivation over the long haul, allowing you to pursue your ambitions with unwavering determination and genuine enthusiasm. As we conclude this chapter on finding your why and setting purposeful goals, you've laid a crucial foundation for building infinite drive. You've begun the process of uncovering your core purpose, aligning your goals with your values, and creating a roadmap for meaningful achievement. But having a clear destination is just the first step on the journey to lasting motivation. In the next chapter, we'll delve into a critical factor that can either supercharge your progress or sabotage your efforts before you even begin. It's an element so powerful that it can transform seemingly insurmountable obstacles into exciting challenges, or turn golden opportunities into paralyzing fears. Are you ready to unlock the hidden force that shapes your every action and reaction on the path to your goals? Chapter 3: Mindset Mastery. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to bounce back from setbacks with renewed determination, while others crumble at the first sign of difficulty? Or why certain individuals consistently push themselves to achieve ambitious goals, while others shy away from challenges, content to stay within their comfort zones? The answer lies not in innate talent or luck, but in something far more powerful and, fortunately, far more controllable: mindset. As we delve into this chapter, we're about to uncover a fundamental truth that has the potential to revolutionize your approach to motivation and achievement. It's a concept so transformative that once you truly grasp and apply it, you'll wonder how you ever pursued your goals without it. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Like any worthwhile journey, this one begins with a single step: a willingness to examine and potentially reshape the very foundation of how you think about yourself and your abilities. At its core, mindset is the set of beliefs and attitudes through which you interpret and respond to the world around you. It's the lens through which you view challenges, setbacks, and opportunities. And here's the crucial part: your mindset isn't fixed. It's not something you're born with and stuck with for life. It's malleable, capable of growth and change. This malleability is the key that unlocks the door to lasting motivation and achievement. But what exactly does it mean to master your mindset? It's not about positive thinking in a vague, wishy-washy sense, nor is it about denying reality or pretending that difficulties don't exist. Mindset mastery is about developing a resilient, growth-oriented perspective that naturally fuels motivation instead of undermining it. It's about training yourself to see challenges as opportunities, to view effort as the path to mastery, and to interpret setbacks as valuable feedback rather than personal failings. The concept of mindset has been the subject of extensive research in psychology, with groundbreaking work by scholars like Carol Dweck shedding light on how our beliefs about our abilities profoundly impact our motivation and achievement. Dweck's research introduced the distinction between what she calls a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, two contrasting ways of thinking about talent and ability that have far-reaching consequences for how we approach our goals and respond to challenges. Individuals with a fixed mindset believe that their abilities, intelligence, and talents are static traits. They might think, "I'm just not a math person," or "some people are naturally gifted at public speaking, and I'm not one of them." This belief leads to a tendency to avoid challenges, to avoid looking bad or incompetent, give up easily when things get tough, because struggle is interpreted as a lack of ability, and feel threatened by the success of others, seeing it as a reminder of their own perceived inadequacies. In contrast, those with a growth mindset believe that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. They're more likely to think, "I can get better at math if I practice," or "public speaking is a skill that can be improved over time." This mindset naturally fuels motivation because setbacks are seen not as dead ends, but as opportunities to learn and grow. People with a growth mindset tend to embrace challenges, persist in the face of setbacks, see effort as the path to mastery, and find inspiration in the success of others. The impact of these mindsets on motivation and achievement can hardly be overstated. When you believe that your abilities are fixed, failure becomes catastrophic, a confirmation of your limitations. But when you believe that you can grow and improve, failure becomes an opportunity to learn and adapt. One mindset leads to avoidance and stagnation, the other to engagement and progress. But how do you cultivate a growth mindset if you've spent years operating from a fixed perspective? The good news is that, like any skill, it can be developed with practice and awareness. The first step is simply becoming aware of your current mindset. Pay attention to your self-talk, especially in challenging situations. Do you catch yourself saying things like, "I'm just not good at this," or "I'll never be able to do that"? These are telltale signs of a fixed mindset at work. Once you've identified these fixed mindset thoughts, the next step is to challenge and reframe them. Add the word "yet" to the end of those limiting statements. "I'm not good at this yet. I can't do that yet." This simple addition opens up the possibility of growth and improvement, keeping you motivated to persist rather than give up. But mindset mastery goes beyond just positive self-talk. It involves actively seeking out challenges that stretch your abilities. If you're comfortable running 5K races, sign up for a 10K. If you've mastered beginner-level skills in your hobby, push yourself to tackle intermediate challenges. Each time you step out of your comfort zone and survive, or even thrive, you reinforce the belief that you can grow and improve, fueling your motivation to take on even bigger challenges. Another crucial aspect of the growth mindset is reframing how you view effort. In a fixed mindset, needing to work hard at something is often seen as a sign of lack of talent or ability. But in a growth mindset, effort is understood as the very thing that makes you better. Instead of thinking, "If I were really good at this, it would be easy," try thinking, "The effort I'm putting in is literally making me better at this." This shift makes it easier to stay motivated through difficult work because you see that work as the actual mechanism of your improvement. Embracing this mindset also means changing how you respond to feedback and criticism. Instead of becoming defensive or discouraged when someone points out areas for improvement, try to welcome it as valuable information that can help you grow. Respond with curiosity and gratitude. "Thank you for that feedback. Can you tell me more about how I could improve in that area?" This approach not only helps you learn and grow faster, but it also makes the process of improvement less emotionally taxing helping you maintain motivation over the long haul. One of the biggest mindset shifts that can supercharge your motivation is redefining how you think about failure. In a fixed mindset, failure is often seen as a reflection of your inherent abilities or lack thereof. But in a growth mindset, failure is simply feedback, information about what didn't work and what you might try differently next time. This redefinition of failure is liberating. It frees you from the paralyzing fear that often leads to procrastination and avoidance. When you're not afraid to fail, you're much more likely to take action, to experiment, to put yourself out there, and it's through this action and experimentation that real progress and achievement happen. Remember, every significant achievement in human history has been preceded by numerous failures and setbacks. The road to success is rarely smooth or straight. By embracing failure as a natural and necessary part of the growth process, you maintain your motivation even when things don't go as planned. You stay in the game long enough to succeed, rather than quitting at the first or second or 10th sign of difficulty. But mindset mastery isn't just about how you view challenges and setbacks. It's also about cultivating a strong belief in your own ability to achieve your goals. This concept, known in psychology as self-efficacy, is a cornerstone of sustained motivation. Self-efficacy is, simply put, your belief in your ability to succeed in specific situations or accomplish a task. It's not a general sense of self-esteem, but rather a task-specific confidence. When you have high self-efficacy in a particular area, you're more likely to view difficult tasks as challenges to be mastered rather than threats to be avoided. You're also more likely to recover quickly from setbacks and maintain your commitment to your goals. The impact of self-efficacy on motivation is profound. When you believe you can do something, you're far more likely to start it and to persevere when obstacles arise. This belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Confidence leads to action. Action leads to progress. Progress boosts confidence further, and so the cycle continues. Conversely, low self-efficacy can create a negative spiral. Doubt leads to hesitation or avoidance. Lack of action means no progress, which further erodes confidence. So how can you build your self-efficacy? One powerful strategy is to focus on accumulating small wins. Set very achievable mini-goals or tasks that you can complete successfully. Each small victory, no matter how minor it might seem, provides concrete evidence to your brain that I can do this. Over time, these small successes build upon each other, gradually increasing your confidence to tackle larger, more challenging goals. Another effective technique is to create a success log, a record of your past achievements and challenges you've overcome. When doubt creeps in, as it inevitably will from time to time, reviewing this log reminds you of your capabilities and past triumphs. It rekindles your belief that you can succeed again in your current endeavor. Finding role models or mentors who have achieved what you're aiming for can also significantly boost your self-efficacy. Seeing someone who you can relate to succeed makes it easier to believe that you can do it too. This is especially powerful if you can learn about their journey, including the struggles they faced and overcame. It helps you realize that setbacks and difficulties are a normal part of the process, not signs that you're incapable or unworthy. Positive reinforcement, both from others and from yourself, is another crucial element in building self-efficacy. Surround yourself with supportive people who believe in you and will remind you of your strengths when you're feeling doubtful. And practice positive self-talk. Instead of berating yourself with thoughts like, I'm terrible at this, try more constructive messages like, I'm making progress, or I have the ability to learn and improve at this. As you work on building your self-efficacy, it's also important to develop what psychologists call an internal locus of control. This refers to the extent to which you believe you have control over the outcomes in your life, as opposed to believing that external forces primarily determine what happens to you. People with a strong internal locus of control tend to be more motivated and proactive. They believe that their actions significantly influence their outcomes, which naturally leads to taking more initiative and persisting in the face of challenges. After all, if you believe your efforts make a difference, you're much more likely to make those efforts. In contrast, those with a predominantly external locus of control might feel that their actions don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. They're more likely to attribute outcomes to luck, fate, or the actions of others. This belief can be deeply demotivating. If you don't think your efforts will make a difference, why bother trying? Shifting towards a more internal locus of control involves consciously looking for ways you can influence situations, even when external factors are at play. When something goes wrong, resist the urge to blame circumstances entirely. Instead, ask yourself, what could I have done differently? What can I learn from this? How can I improve next time? This doesn't mean taking blame for things truly outside your control, but rather empowering yourself to focus on what you can change or influence. Practice making more decisions for yourself in everyday life, even small ones. The more you exercise your choice muscle, the more you'll internalize the belief that you have agency in your life. When faced with obstacles, immediately ask, what can I do to influence this outcome? This habit trains you to focus on your sphere of influence, enhancing the feeling that your actions matter. Another crucial aspect of mindset mastery is cultivating optimism. This doesn't mean adopting a naively positive view of the world, but rather developing what psychologists call an optimistic explanatory style. This refers to how you explain the events that happen in your life, especially the challenging ones. Optimists tend to view setbacks as temporary. This is a one-time thing, specific. This particular thing went wrong, but other areas of my life work are fine and changeable. I can do something to improve this situation. This perspective naturally leads to greater persistence and motivation because it frames challenges as surmountable and temporary. In contrast, a pessimistic explanatory style sees setbacks as permanent. Things will always be this way, pervasive, everything is going wrong, and personal. This is all my fault, I'm just not good enough. This outlook can quickly erode motivation because it makes challenges seem insurmountable and failures feel like reflections of inherent inadequacy. Cultivating a more optimistic outlook involves consciously practicing reframing negative events in more constructive ways. When you face a setback, challenge yourself to find the temporary and specific aspects of it. Look for the elements you can change or influence. This doesn't mean denying reality or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about finding a perspective that acknowledges difficulties while maintaining hope and a sense of agency. One practical way to build this skill is through a daily reframing exercise. At the end of each day, write down one challenge you faced. Then, write an optimistic reframe for it. For example, if you got rejected for a job, your reframe might be, this particular opportunity wasn't the right fit, but it's given me interview experience and helped me clarify what I'm looking for. I can use this feedback to improve my approach for the next application. As you work on cultivating a growth mindset, building self-efficacy, developing an internal locus of control, and adopting a more optimistic explanatory style, you'll likely notice a shift in your overall self-image and identity. This is perhaps the most profound and lasting impact of mindset mastery. Our actions are strongly influenced by how we see ourselves, our identity. If you see yourself as a motivated person, a problem solver, or someone who never gives up, you're much more likely to act in ways that align with that self-image. Conversely, if you think of yourself as lazy or not cut out for this, those beliefs can become self-fulfilling prophecies. The beautiful thing about identity is that it's not set in stone. You can consciously choose and cultivate an identity that supports your goals and fuels your motivation. Start referring to yourself in ways that align with your aspirations. Instead of saying, I'm trying to write a book, say, I am a writer. Instead of, I want to be more disciplined, try, I am becoming more disciplined every day. This isn't about pretending to be something you're not. It's about recognizing the person you're capable of becoming and starting to embody that identity now. As you take actions consistent with this chosen identity, you reinforce it, creating a positive feedback loop of identity, motivation, and action. Use your evolving identity as a compass for decision-making. When faced with a choice, ask yourself, what would insert your aspirational identity do in this situation? Then act accordingly. Each time you do this, you're not just making progress toward your goals, you're solidifying a self-image that naturally generates motivation and drive. As we conclude this exploration of mindset mastery, it's clear that the way you think about yourself, your abilities, and the challenges you face has a profound impact on your motivation and ultimately your success. By cultivating a growth mindset, building self-efficacy, developing an internal locus of control, adopting an optimistic explanatory style, and consciously shaping your identity, you create a mental framework that generates motivation from within. This inner wellspring of motivation is far more reliable and sustainable than depending on external factors or fleeting bursts of inspiration. It allows you to persist in the face of setbacks, to embrace challenges as opportunities for growth, and to maintain your drive even when the path becomes difficult. But mindset, powerful as it is just one piece of the motivation puzzle. In the next chapter, we'll explore a force so potent that it can turn even the most daunting tasks into effortless habits. It's a concept that, when mastered, allows you to bypass the need for constant willpower, creating a smooth, almost automatic path to your goals. Are you ready to discover how to put your success on autopilot? Chapter 4: Turning Actions into Autopilot. Imagine waking up one morning and effortlessly gliding through your most important tasks, making steady progress towards your goals without having to constantly push yourself or rely on fleeting bursts of motivation. Sound too good to be true? What if I told you that this isn't just a fantasy, but an achievable reality, one that's grounded in science and proven by countless high achievers throughout history? The secret lies in a powerful force that's been shaping human behavior since the dawn of our species. It's a force so subtle that we often overlook it, yet so potent that it can make the difference between consistent success and perpetual struggle. This force is the focus of our exploration in this chapter, and mastering it could revolutionize your approach to achieving your goals. But before we dive into the specifics, let's consider a question. Why is it that some days pursuing our ambitions feels like an uphill battle, while on others it seems to flow naturally? The answer lies not in some mystical alignment of the stars, but in the intricate workings of our own minds and the patterns we've established over time. You see, our brains are constantly seeking efficiency. They're always looking for ways to conserve energy and streamline processes. This efficiency-seeking nature of our minds is what allows us to perform complex tasks like driving a car or typing on a keyboard without having to consciously think about every minute action involved. It's a remarkable ability, one that frees up our mental resources for higher-level thinking and problem-solving. But what if we could harness this same efficiency-seeking tendency and apply it to our goals and aspirations? What if we could make progress towards our dreams as automatic as brushing our teeth or checking our phones in the morning? This is where the power of habits comes into play. Habits are the brain's way of automating behaviors, turning conscious efforts into unconscious routines. They're the bridge between intention and action, the mechanism that can transform sporadic bursts of motivation into consistent, long-term progress. Think about it. How often do you debate whether or not to brush your teeth before bed? Chances are you don't. You just do it. It's a habit, an automatic behavior that you perform without much thought or internal resistance. Now imagine if working towards your most important goals felt just as automatic and resistance-free. This is the promise of habit formation, to turn the actions that lead to your success into automatic behaviors that you perform consistently, regardless of your mood or motivation level on any given day. But how exactly do habits work, and why are they so powerful? To understand this, we need to delve into the science of habit formation and the fascinating way our brains create and reinforce these automatic behaviors. At the core of every habit is what psychologists call the habit loop. This loop consists of three components: a cue, a routine, and a reward. The cue is the trigger that tells your brain to go into automatic mode and which habit to use. The routine is the behavior itself, the action you take. And the reward is the positive reinforcement that tells your brain that this particular loop is worth remembering and repeating. For example, let's say you have a habit of checking your phone first thing in the morning. The cue might be waking up and seeing your phone on the nightstand. The routine is picking up the phone and scrolling through notifications. The reward could be the dopamine hit you get from seeing new messages or interesting content. Understanding this loop is crucial because it allows us to deconstruct our existing habits and, more importantly, to engineer new ones that serve our goals. By consciously designing cues, routines, and rewards, we can create habits that move us consistently towards our objectives, even on days when our motivation is low. But why are habits so effective at maintaining progress, even more so than relying on motivation alone? The answer lies in the way habits are processed in our brains. Neuroscience research has shown that as behaviors become habitual, they get encoded in our basal ganglia, a part of the brain involved in automatic processing. This shift from conscious to unconscious processing is what makes habits so powerful and efficient. When a behavior becomes habitual, it requires less mental energy to initiate and maintain. This is why you can drive a familiar route while your mind wanders to other topics, or why you might find yourself in the bathroom with a toothbrush in hand without consciously deciding to brush your teeth. Your brain has essentially put these behaviors on autopilot. This autopilot effect is incredibly valuable when it comes to pursuing long-term goals. Why? Because motivation is fickle. It ebbs and flows based on numerous factors: your mood, your energy levels, external circumstances. If you rely solely on feeling motivated to take action, your progress will be inconsistent at best. Habits, on the other hand, persist regardless of your emotional state. Once established, they require minimal willpower to maintain. This consistency is the key to long-term success. As the saying goes, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Consider this. Research from Duke University suggests that up to 40% of our daily actions are habitual rather than the result of conscious decision-making. This means that a large portion of our lives is already running on autopilot. The question is, are these automatic behaviors moving us towards our goals, or are they holding us back? By intentionally cultivating habits that align with our objectives, we can ensure that a significant chunk of our daily actions are consistently pushing us in the right direction. This is the power of turning actions into autopilot. It allows us to make progress even on days when we don't feel particularly motivated or energized. But how long does it take to form a new habit? This is a question that has intrigued researchers for years. While popular wisdom often claims it takes 21 days to form a habit, the reality is a bit more complex. A study from University College London found that on average, it takes about 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic. However, this varied widely between individuals and depending on the complexity of the habit, ranging from 18 to 254 days. This finding underscores an important point. Habit formation is a gradual process that requires patience and persistence. It's not about perfection or immediate transformation, but about consistent effort over time. Understanding this can help us set realistic expectations and stay committed even when progress feels slow. So how do we go about building new habits that stick? The key is to start small, really small. Many people fail in their habit-forming efforts because they try to do too much too soon. They might decide to start exercising and immediately commit to hour-long gym sessions 5 days a week. While admirable in intention, this approach often leads to burnout and abandonment of the habit. Instead, the most effective approach is to begin with habits so small they seem almost trivial. This is the essence of the 2-minute rule, popularized by productivity experts. The idea is to scale down your desired habit to something that takes 2 minutes or less to complete. Want to start a daily meditation practice? Begin with just 2 minutes of mindful breathing each day. Aiming to write a book? Start by writing 1 sentence every day. This approach might seem too easy, even ineffective. But that's precisely the point. The goal at this stage isn't to make massive progress towards your ultimate objective. It's to establish the habit of showing up, of taking action, no matter how small. It's about lowering the barrier to entry so low that you have no excuse not to do it. By starting with these mini habits, you accomplish several important things. First, you build a streak of successes. Each day you complete your tiny habit, you get to mark it as a win. This consistent sense of achievement is incredibly motivating and builds momentum. Second, you begin to shift your identity. As you consistently take these small actions, you start to see yourself as the type of person who meditates every day, or a writer who never misses a day of writing. This identity shift is powerful and self-reinforcing. As these mini habits become established, you can gradually increase their scope. That 2-minute meditation might grow to 5 minutes, then 10, and so on. The daily sentence might become a paragraph, then a page. The key is to increase the challenge slowly, always keeping the habit manageable enough that you can maintain consistency. Another powerful strategy for establishing new habits is what's known as habit stacking. This involves attaching your new habit to an existing routine. For instance, after I brush my teeth in the morning, I will do 2 minutes of stretching. Or, when I pour my morning coffee, I will write down 3 things I'm grateful for. This approach leverages the power of existing habits to cue your new behavior. The established habit serves as a reliable trigger, reminding you to perform your new routine. Over time, the new behavior becomes linked to the existing one in your mind, making it feel more natural and automatic. Environmental cues also play a crucial role in habit formation. Our surroundings have a powerful, often subconscious influence on our behavior. By deliberately arranging your environment to support your desired habits, you can make it much easier to stick to them. For example, if you want to read more, keep a book on your nightstand. If you're trying to exercise in the mornings, lay out your workout clothes the night before. Consistency in time and place can also accelerate habit formation. Performing your new habit at the same time and in the same location each day helps to solidify the cue routine reward loop in your brain. Your mind begins to associate that specific context with the behavior, making it feel more automatic over time. While establishing the routine is crucial, don't overlook the importance of the reward in the habit loop. Especially in the early stages of habit formation, it's beneficial to give yourself a small, immediate reward after completing your new behavior. This could be something as simple as a moment of self-congratulation, a check mark on a habit tracker, or a brief, enjoyable activity. The key is to create a positive association in your brain between the behavior and the reward. This positive reinforcement helps to cement the habit loop and makes you more likely to repeat the behavior in the future. Over time, the habit itself often becomes its own reward, but in the beginning, these external reinforcements can be very helpful. As you work on establishing new habits, it's important to maintain realistic expectations and patience. Remember, habit formation is a gradual process. It's normal for it to feel effortful in the beginning. You might forget sometimes or struggle with consistency. This doesn't mean you've failed, it's just part of the process. One helpful rule to keep in mind is never miss twice. If you do happen to skip a day of your new habit, make sure to get back on track immediately the next day. This approach acknowledges that perfection isn't necessary or realistic, while still maintaining the overall consistency that's crucial for habit formation. It's also wise to focus on establishing 1 or 2 new habits at a time, rather than trying to overhaul your entire routine at once. Willpower is a limited resource, and spreading it too thin across multiple new behaviors can lead to failure across the board. By focusing on a few key habits, you allow yourself to direct sufficient energy and attention to make them stick. As your habits become more established, it's important to periodically review and adjust them to ensure they're still serving you effectively. Life changes, your schedule shifts, your goals evolve, your circumstances change. Your habits should adapt accordingly. Don't be afraid to tweak the cues, routines, or rewards of your habits if you find they're no longer working as well as they once did. Maybe a morning routine needs to shift to the evening due to a new work schedule. Perhaps a reward that once motivated you has lost its appeal and needs to be replaced. The key is to remain flexible and willing to optimize your habits as needed. Sometimes you might find that a well-established habit has become too easy or routine, leading to boredom or disengagement. In these cases, consider adding new challenges or variety to keep the habit engaging. For instance, if your daily exercise routine has become mundane, you might introduce new exercises or increase the intensity. The goal is to maintain the core habit while allowing it to grow and evolve with you. As you continue to cultivate and refine your habits over time, you'll likely notice a profound shift. These behaviors that once required conscious effort and willpower start to feel like an integral part of who you are. You're no longer trying to be a person who exercises regularly or writes daily or meditates consistently. You simply are that person. This is the ultimate power of habits. They shape not just what we do, but who we are. When you can say with confidence, "I am the type of person who," and fill in that blank with behaviors that align with your goals and values, you've achieved a level of consistency and identity alignment that generates its own momentum. At this stage, your habits are truly on autopilot. What once felt challenging now feels strange to not do. You've created a personal ecosystem of behaviors that consistently move you towards your goals, regardless of your daily fluctuations in mood or motivation. This autopilot success frees up tremendous mental and emotional energy. You're no longer expending willpower on deciding whether to take action or pushing yourself to get started. Instead, you can channel that energy into tackling new challenges, setting more ambitious goals, or exploring new areas of growth. In essence, well-established habits provide a stable foundation of progress in key areas of your life. They ensure that you're consistently taking care of the basics, your health, your key skills, your important relationships, without having to constantly think about or decide on these actions. This reliable base allows you to reach higher, to pursue bigger dreams and more complex objectives. As we conclude this exploration of habits and their transformative power, consider the compound effect of these automated behaviors over time. A small action, repeated consistently day after day, can lead to remarkable results. A daily writing habit, even if it's just a few hundred words, can result in a completed book over the course of a year. Regular exercise, even in short bursts, can transform your health and energy levels over months and years. By turning your most important actions into autopilot behaviors, you create a powerful system for long-term success. You're no longer at the mercy of fluctuating motivation or willpower. Instead, you've built a reliable engine of progress that keeps moving you forward, day in and day out, towards your most cherished goals. But as powerful as habits are, they're just one piece of the motivation puzzle. In the next chapter, we'll explore a critical factor that can make the difference between giving up when things get tough and pushing through to break through success. It's an element so fundamental to achievement that without it, even the best-laid plans and most carefully crafted habits can crumble. Are you ready to discover the hidden force that separates those who merely start from those who ultimately succeed? Chapter 5. Strengthening Your Resolve. What separates those who consistently achieve their goals from those who falter and give up? Why do some individuals seem to effortlessly push through challenges while others crumble at the first sign of difficulty? The answer lies in a quality that's often overlooked in our quest for success: resolve. Resolve, or self-discipline, is the hidden force that bridges the gap between intention and action. It's the steadfast commitment that keeps you moving forward when motivation wanes and obstacles loom large. But what exactly is this elusive quality, and more importantly, how can we cultivate it? As we delve into this chapter, we'll uncover the secrets of strengthening your resolve. We'll explore the intricate workings of willpower, learn how to harness it effectively, and discover strategies to build unshakable self-discipline. But before we dive into the specifics, let's consider a fundamental truth about human nature and achievement. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to start a new project or goal with enthusiasm, only to find your initial excitement fading as the days go by? This ebb and flow of motivation is a common experience, one that can derail even the most well-intentioned plans. It's in these moments, when the initial spark of inspiration has dimmed, that resolve becomes crucial. Think of resolve as the backbone of your ambitions. While motivation provides the initial push, it's resolve that keeps you steady and moving forward, regardless of how you feel in the moment. It's what gets you out of bed for that early morning workout when every fiber of your being wants to stay under the warm covers. It's what keeps you working on your project late into the night when Netflix is calling your name. But here's the thing about resolve. It's not an innate trait that some people are born with and others lack. It's a skill, a muscle that can be developed and strengthened over time. Just as you can train your body to run faster or lift heavier weights, you can train your mind to exert greater self-control and maintain discipline in the face of challenges. To understand how to build this crucial skill, we first need to grasp the nature of willpower itself. Willpower, the fuel of resolve, has long been a subject of fascination for psychologists and researchers. One influential theory, known as the ego depletion model, suggests that willpower is a limited resource, much like the fuel in a car's tank. According to this model, each act of self-control, whether it's resisting a temptation, forcing yourself to focus on a tedious task, or making a difficult decision, uses up a bit of this willpower fuel. If you repeatedly exert self-control without allowing for recovery, you may experience willpower fatigue. This state of depletion can make subsequent acts of self-control more challenging, increasing the likelihood of giving in to impulses or quitting on your goals. This concept of willpower as a finite resource has profound implications for how we approach our daily lives and long-term objectives. It suggests that we need to be strategic about when and how we exert self-control, much like an athlete carefully manages their energy throughout a competition. For instance, have you ever noticed that it's often easier to stick to a new habit or work plan earlier in the day, but your resolve tends to crumble as evening approaches? This pattern aligns with the idea of willpower depletion. Your self-control reserves are typically highest after a good night's rest and gradually diminish as you navigate the decisions and challenges of your day. Understanding this cycle allows you to plan your day more effectively. You might schedule your most challenging or important tasks for when your willpower tank is fullest, typically in the morning or after a rejuvenating break. Conversely, you'd avoid scheduling back-to-back activities that require intense self-control without allowing for recovery periods. However, it's important to note that while the ego depletion model provides useful insights, more recent research has brought nuance to our understanding of willpower. Some studies suggest that our beliefs about willpower can influence its apparent limits. Those who view willpower as a renewable resource tend to exhibit greater self-control over time compared to those who see it as strictly limited. This finding hints at the power of mindset in shaping our capacity for self-discipline. It suggests that by shifting our perspective on willpower and resolve, we can potentially expand our ability to persevere through challenges. But what exactly is the difference between motivation and discipline? While closely related, these two concepts play distinct roles in our pursuit of goals. Motivation is an emotional state, a feeling of enthusiasm or desire that propels us towards action. It's the excitement you feel when you first decide to start a new project, or the inspiration that strikes when you envision achieving your dreams. Discipline, on the other hand, is a commitment to act according to your goals and values, regardless of your emotional state. It's like a personal code of conduct that you follow, even when, especially when, you don't feel like it. While motivation is something you feel, discipline is something you do. This distinction is crucial because it highlights why relying solely on motivation is a risky strategy for long-term success. Motivation, by its very nature, fluctuates. It's influenced by countless factors: your mood, your energy levels, external circumstances, and more. If you only take action when you feel motivated, your progress will be inconsistent at best. Discipline, however, provides a safety net for those inevitable times when motivation dips. It's the force that gets you to show up and put in the work, even on days when you'd rather do anything else. By cultivating strong self-discipline, you create a reliable foundation for consistent progress, regardless of how you feel on any given day. Interestingly, motivation and discipline can work together in a powerful synergy. When motivation is high, that's the perfect time to establish systems and habits that will support your discipline when motivation inevitably ebbs. For instance, you might use a burst of motivation to set up a structured daily routine or to remove temptations from your environment, actions that will make it easier to stay disciplined later on. Moreover, knowing that you have the discipline to follow through on your commitments can actually boost your motivation to set ambitious goals. When you trust in your ability to persevere through challenges, you're more likely to aim high and take on meaningful projects. Now, let's explore a powerful metaphor that can help us understand how to develop and maintain strong resolve: willpower as a muscle. Just like the muscles in your body, your capacity for self-control can be both exhausted in the short term and strengthened over time with proper training. In the short term, intense use of willpower can lead to temporary fatigue, much like how your arms might feel tired after an intense workout. This is why, after a day of making difficult decisions or resisting various temptations, you might find it harder to focus on a challenging task in the evening. Your willpower muscle is fatigued and needs recovery. But here's the encouraging part. Just as physical exercise can increase your strength and endurance over time, regularly exercising your willpower can expand your capacity for self-control. Small, consistent acts of discipline can gradually increase your overall willpower strength. For example, you might commit to a small daily challenge, like meditating for 5 minutes each morning or ending each shower with 30 seconds of cold water. These acts might feel difficult at first, but over time, they become easier. More importantly, the discipline you build through these small challenges can spill over into other areas of your life, making it easier to exert self-control in various situations. However, it's crucial to remember that, like physical training, building willpower requires balance. Overtraining without adequate rest can lead to burnout. The key is to challenge yourself in moderation and allow for recovery. You wouldn't expect to lift weights 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Similarly, you shouldn't expect to exert extreme discipline at all times without breaks. With this understanding of willpower and discipline, let's explore some practical strategies to boost your self-discipline and manage your willpower effectively. One of the most powerful approaches to maintaining discipline is to design your environment in a way that reduces the need for constant willpower exertion. This strategy is based on the simple principle that it's easier to resist temptation when it's not staring you in the face. Start by conducting a temptation audit of your environment. Identify the things that frequently distract you from your work or tempt you away from your goals. These might include social media, television, video games, or any other activities that tend to derail your productivity. Once you've identified these temptations, take steps to remove them from your immediate environment or make them harder to access. For instance, if social media is a major distraction, you might use website blocking software during your work hours. If you find yourself mindlessly watching TV instead of working on your projects, consider moving the TV to a less accessible location or even removing it from your main living space altogether. The idea here isn't to deprive yourself permanently of enjoyable activities, but rather to create an environment where staying focused on your priorities is the path of least resistance. By removing or reducing easy access to distractions, you conserve your willpower for more important decisions and actions. In cases where you can't entirely remove a temptation, try adding friction to the process of engaging with it. For example, if online shopping is a weakness, remove saved payment information from your favorite sites so that you have to manually enter your card details for each purchase. This small hurdle can be enough to make you pause and reconsider whether the purchase is really necessary. Another key strategy for building discipline is to establish clear rules and routines for yourself. Personal rules, when consistently followed, can dramatically reduce the mental energy required to make decisions throughout your day. For instance, you might set a rule that you don't check email or social media before noon, or that you always exercise on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. By making these behaviors non-negotiable, you eliminate the internal debate that often precedes them. Instead of weighing pros and cons each time, you simply follow your pre-established rule. Similarly, creating default routines for different parts of your day can help maintain discipline without constant effort. A morning routine might involve waking up at a set time, followed by meditation, exercise, and planning your day. An evening routine could include wrapping up work tasks, spending time with family, and reading before bed. These routines create a rhythm to your day that naturally guides you towards productive behaviors. When what to do next is clear and habitual, you're less likely to drift into undisciplined actions. Another powerful tool in your discipline arsenal is the use of implementation intentions. These are pre-planned responses to specific situations or challenges. For example, if I feel the urge to procrastinate, then I will immediately start working for just 5 minutes. By deciding in advance how you'll handle common obstacles, you reduce the need for in-the-moment willpower and increase the likelihood of staying on track. Accountability can also play a crucial role in strengthening your resolve. Partnering with someone who shares similar goals or values can provide mutual support and motivation. Regular check-ins with an accountability partner can reinforce your commitment to your goals and provide an extra incentive to follow through on your plans. Some people find that making public commitments can significantly boost their resolve. Announcing your intentions to friends, family, or even on social media raises the stakes. The prospect of having to admit failure to others can be a powerful motivator to stay disciplined. However, it's important to use these external accountability measures judiciously. While they can be helpful tools, the ultimate goal is to develop intrinsic discipline, the ability to follow through on your commitments even when no one else is watching. As you work on strengthening your resolve, it's crucial to cultivate a mindset that embraces discomfort. Progress often requires doing things that aren't immediately pleasurable, waking up early, pushing through tedious tasks, resisting instant gratification. Instead of avoiding these discomforts, try to see them as signs of growth and progress. One effective way to build this tolerance for discomfort is through small daily acts of discipline. These might include taking a brief cold shower, choosing stairs over the elevator, or completing a boring task without checking your phone. The specific action matters less than the mental message it sends. I am in control of my impulses, not the other way around. When facing strong urges or cravings, practice mindfulness. Instead of immediately giving in or fighting against the sensation, simply observe it. Acknowledge the feeling without judgment, and remind yourself that you don't have to act on every impulse. This practice can help you develop the ability to sit with discomfort, a key skill in maintaining long-term discipline. Another crucial aspect of becoming a more disciplined person is learning to act based on commitments rather than feelings. It's common to wait until we feel like doing something, but this approach is unreliable for consistent progress. Instead, practice taking action regardless of your mood. If you've committed to writing at 8 a.m., sit down and start typing at 8 a.m., whether you feel inspired or not. Often, the act of starting is enough to generate momentum and even shift your mood. Over time, work on detaching your actions from your momentary feelings. Recognize that your brain will often present reasons to delay or avoid challenging tasks. A disciplined person acknowledges these thoughts but doesn't let them dictate behavior. Practice labeling such thoughts as excuses and choosing not to negotiate with them. Reflection and reinforcement are also key components in the journey to greater discipline. Keep a log of instances where you exercise self-control, noting both successes and failures. Analyze this log for patterns, Are there certain times of day or specific triggers that challenge your discipline? Use these insights to adjust your strategies and environment. Remember to acknowledge and reward yourself for acts of discipline, especially when they're challenging. This positive reinforcement can help solidify disciplined behavior and make it more likely that you'll repeat it in the future. Lastly, view the development of discipline as an ongoing process of iteration and improvement. When you slip up, don't see it as a failure of character, but as valuable data. Perhaps you need to adjust your approach, tweak your environment, or modify your goals. Regularly evaluate your discipline strategies and be willing to make changes as needed. As you continue to strengthen your resolve through these practices, you'll likely notice a profound shift. Tasks that once required immense willpower start to feel more manageable. You'll find yourself naturally gravitating towards productive behaviors and resisting distractions with greater ease. This is the power of cultivated discipline. It transforms challenging behaviors into habits, making consistent progress your default state. With strong resolve, you create a foundation of reliability and perseverance that can support even the most ambitious goals. But as powerful as discipline is, it's just one piece of the motivation puzzle. In the next chapter, we'll explore a set of strategies so immediate and effective that they can reignite your drive even on your lowest days. These techniques tap into the core of human psychology, providing a toolkit for instant motivation that can complement your long-term discipline. Are you ready to discover how to spark your motivation on demand, turning even the most daunting tasks into engaging challenges? Chapter 6: Keeping the Fire Alive Daily. Have you ever wondered why some days feel like an effortless flow of productivity, while others seem to drag on, with every task feeling like an uphill battle? The secret to consistently productive and motivated days isn't just about grand strategies or long-term goals. It's about the small, daily practices that keep your inner fire burning bright. In this chapter, we're going to explore a toolbox of practical techniques that you can use every single day to spark and maintain your motivation. These aren't just abstract concepts or long-term strategies. They're concrete, actionable methods you can implement immediately to see a difference in your daily drive and energy. But before we dive into these techniques, let's consider why such daily practices are necessary in the first place. After all, if you've clarified your purpose, set meaningful goals, and cultivated discipline, shouldn't that be enough to keep you consistently motivated? The reality is that motivation, much like the weather, can be unpredictable and changeable. Even with the best long-term strategies in place, our day-to-day motivation can fluctuate due to a myriad of factors: mood swings, energy levels, stress, or simple monotony. These daily ebbs and flows are a normal part of the human experience, but they can significantly impact our productivity and progress towards our goals if not managed effectively. This is where the concept of activation energy comes into play. In chemistry, activation energy is the minimum amount of energy required for a chemical reaction to occur. In the context of human behavior and motivation, it represents the initial push needed to start a task. Often, the hardest part of any endeavor is simply getting started. Once we overcome that initial resistance and begin, it's much easier to continue. Many of the techniques we'll explore in this chapter are designed to lower this activation energy or provide that crucial initial push. By making it easier to start and maintain momentum, these practices help bridge the gap between intention and action, even on days when your motivation might be running low. Another key principle underlying these daily motivation techniques is the power of small wins. Our brains are wired to respond positively to achievement, no matter how minor. Every time we complete a task or make progress towards a goal, our brain releases a small amount of dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. This creates a positive feedback loop, encouraging us to take further action to experience that good feeling again. By breaking down our tasks and goals into smaller, more manageable chunks, we can create more opportunities for these small wins throughout our day. This not only provides regular boosts of motivation, but also builds momentum, making it easier to tackle larger, more challenging tasks. Speaking of momentum, let's consider how this concept from physics applies to our daily productivity. Just as an object in motion tends to stay in motion, a person who starts their day with productive actions is more likely to continue that pattern. By focusing on starting strong and achieving early wins, we can create a positive trajectory that carries us through the rest of the day. Now, let's delve into some practical strategies for starting your day strong and setting yourself up for motivated, productive hours ahead. The way you begin your morning can set the tone for your entire day. Instead of stumbling out of bed and immediately diving into emails or social media, consider establishing a purposeful morning routine that energizes your body and mind. One simple yet powerful practice is to hydrate and move your body soon after waking. Your body becomes dehydrated overnight, so drinking a glass of water first thing can help increase alertness and kickstart your metabolism. Follow this with some form of physical movement. It doesn't have to be an intense workout. Even 5 to 10 minutes of stretching, yoga, or a brisk walk can get your blood flowing and release endorphins, naturally boosting your mood and energy levels. Exposure to natural light in the morning can also have a significant impact on your alertness and overall mood. If possible, try to get some sunlight soon after waking. This could be as simple as opening your curtains wide or stepping outside for a few minutes. Sunlight helps regulate your circadian rhythm, signaling to your body that it's time to be awake and alert. The combination of fresh air and a change of scenery can also help shake off any lingering grogginess and put you in a more active, motivated mindset. While it might be tempting to immediately check your phone for messages or news updates, resist this urge in the early morning hours. Starting your day by reacting to others' demands or getting caught up in the world's problems can put you in a reactive state and drain your mental energy before you've even begun your day. Instead, use the first hour or so for yourself. Focus on your routine, plan your day, or engage in an activity that centers and uplifts you, like reading something inspirational or practicing mindfulness. As you prepare to face the day ahead, take a few moments to set your intentions. This mental preparation can significantly boost your motivation and focus. Start by briefly reviewing your main goals. This doesn't have to be a lengthy process. Even a quick glance at a written statement of your objectives can help reinforce why your daily tasks matter. It connects your immediate actions to your larger purpose, enhancing your intrinsic motivation. Next, identify your top priorities for the day. Try to narrow it down to 1 to 3 key tasks that, if accomplished, would make the day feel successful. Having this clear, focused mission prevents overwhelm and gives you a concrete target to aim for. There's a satisfaction in having a defined purpose for the day, and the act of crossing these priority items off your list will provide a sense of achievement that fuels further motivation. Consider starting your day with a positive affirmation or mantra. This might feel a bit awkward at first if you're not used to it, but don't underestimate the power of self-talk in shaping your mindset. A simple phrase like, "I am focused and productive today," or "I embrace challenges as opportunities for growth," can set a positive tone and counter any morning anxiety or negative self-talk. Now, let's talk about a strategy that can supercharge your daily motivation: eating the frog. This concept, popularized by productivity expert Brian Tracy, suggests tackling your most challenging or least appealing task first thing in the day. The idea is that your willpower and focus are typically strongest in the morning, making it the ideal time to confront that task you're most likely to procrastinate on. There are several benefits to this approach. First, accomplishing a difficult task early in the day provides a significant boost of achievement that can fuel your motivation for hours afterward. It's like giving yourself a running start on productivity. Second, by getting the dreaded task out of the way, you remove a source of stress and dread that might otherwise loom over you all day, subtly draining your energy and motivation. Moreover, consistently facing challenges head-on in this way cultivates a self-image of someone who doesn't shy away from difficult tasks. This increased confidence can spill over into other areas of your life, making you more willing to take on bigger challenges and set more ambitious goals. Of course, even with a strong start to your day, motivation can ebb and flow as the hours pass. That's why it's crucial to have a repertoire of quick motivation techniques you can deploy whenever you feel your energy or focus starting to dip. One powerful strategy is to leverage the motivational power of small wins. When you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed by a large task, break it down into the smallest possible next steps. Instead of write a report, your next action might be open a new document and write the title. This might seem trivial, but completing even tiny steps provides a sense of progress that can reignite your motivation. Visual indicators of progress can be particularly effective in maintaining motivation. Consider using a simple checklist or progress bar to track your advancement through tasks or projects. The act of ticking off items or watching a progress bar fill up provides immediate feedback and a micro reward that encourages you to keep going. It taps into our brain's love of completion and visible progress. Don't underestimate the power of celebrating these micro achievements. When you complete a subtask or make progress, take a moment to acknowledge it. This could be as simple as standing up and stretching, saying yes out loud, or sharing your progress with a supportive colleague. These small celebrations trigger the release of dopamine in your brain, reinforcing the behavior and motivating you to seek that good feeling again by tackling the next chunk of work. Another set of quick motivation techniques involves managing your physical state. Our mental and emotional states are closely tied to our physical condition, and sometimes the fastest way to shift your mindset is to change your body. When you're feeling sluggish or unmotivated, try incorporating brief bursts of physical activity into your day. This doesn't mean you need to do a full workout. Even 20 jumping jacks, a brisk 5-minute walk, or a quick dance to an upbeat song can be enough to get your heart rate up and flood your system with energy-boosting endorphins and adrenaline. Your posture and body language can also have a surprising impact on your mental state. Experiment with power posing, standing or sitting in a confident, expansive posture for a couple of minutes. This can help reduce stress and increase feelings of confidence and control. Even the simple act of smiling, even if you don't initially feel like it, can help lift your mood due to the feedback loop between your facial muscles and brain. On the flip side, if you're feeling anxious or scattered, a quick, deep breathing exercise can help calm your nervous system and improve focus. Try inhaling slowly for a count of 4, holding for 4, then exhaling for 6 to 8 counts. Repeat this a few times to clear mental clutter and regain a steady, motivated mindset. Your environment plays a crucial role in shaping your motivation and focus. Small adjustments to your surroundings can have a significant impact on your mental state and productivity. Music, for instance, can be a powerful tool for altering your emotional state and energy levels. Consider creating a motivational playlist of songs that energize and inspire you. When you notice your enthusiasm flagging, put on 1 or 2 of these tracks to give yourself a quick motivational boost. For tasks requiring deep focus, instrumental or ambient music can help maintain concentration and create a rhythm for your work. If you've been working in one spot for an extended period and feel your motivation stagnating, a change of scenery can work wonders. Take 5 minutes to tidy up your workspace, or if possible, move to a different location entirely. A refreshed environment often leads to a refreshed mind, breaking the monotony and sparking renewed motivation. Visual cues in your environment can also serve as powerful motivational reminders. Keep something visible that inspires you or represents your goals. This could be a vision board, an inspiring quote, or simply a post-it note with your key objective written on it. When you feel your drive waning, take a moment to look at these visual cues. Seeing a representation of your dream or a reminder of why your work matters can provide an instant motivational lift. While these quick techniques can provide immediate boosts, it's also important to think about how to make motivation fun and sustainable over the long term. One effective approach is to gamify your tasks and goals. Consider creating a point system for your daily tasks and objectives. Assign point values to different activities, perhaps 10 points for each job application sent, or 5 points for each page written. Keep a running tally and set up levels or rewards when you reach certain point totals. This introduces an element of play and competition, even if it's just with yourself, making your tasks feel less like drudgery and more like completing quests in a game. Time challenges can also inject a sense of urgency and excitement into your work. Set a timer and see how many items you can cross off your to-do list in 20 minutes, or challenge yourself to complete a task in less time than you think it will take. Racing against the clock, even when the deadline is self-imposed, can trigger a rush of adrenaline and focus that propels you through your work. There are even apps and tools available that can help gamify your productivity, turning your real-life tasks into elements of a role-playing game, or allowing you to compete with others in achieving your goals. These external structures can provide additional motivation and make the process of working towards your objectives more engaging and enjoyable. While pushing yourself to be productive is important, it's equally crucial to build in smart rewards and breaks to sustain your momentum over time. One popular technique is the Pomodoro method, where you work in focused bursts, typically 25 minutes, followed by short breaks, 5 minutes. Knowing that a break is coming can help you stay motivated during the work period, and the brief rests prevent burnout and keep your mind fresh for the next round of focused work. Planning enjoyable activities for the end of your workday can also provide motivation to push through your tasks. Whether it's watching an episode of your favorite show, taking a relaxing bath, or spending quality time with loved ones, having a pleasant reward waiting can encourage you to stay focused and productive. Just be sure to actually allow yourself to enjoy these rewards guilt-free. It's important to reinforce the connection between hard work and positive outcomes. Remember, taking breaks and enjoying rewards isn't slacking off. It's an essential part of maintaining high performance over time. When you schedule breaks or treats after periods of genuine work, embrace them fully as necessary recharges. This positive reinforcement prevents resentment towards your work and keeps you motivated because you know there's balance. You're not endlessly depriving yourself. Even with all these strategies in place, many people experience a motivation slump in the mid-afternoon. This is a normal part of our circadian rhythm, but there are ways to combat it and maintain your productivity through the second half of the day. If your schedule allows, a short power nap, 15 to 20 minutes, early in the afternoon can dramatically improve alertness and mood for the rest of the day. Just be sure not to nap for too long, as entering deep sleep can leave you feeling groggy. Staying hydrated and choosing a light, balanced lunch can help maintain stable energy levels throughout the afternoon. A cup of green tea or coffee in the early afternoon can provide a gentle boost, but be cautious with caffeine later in the day, as it could interfere with your sleep. Creating a small ritual to signal a second start in the middle of the day can be very effective. For example, after lunch, you might take a 5-minute walk to clear your head and then make a quick list of your afternoon tasks. Or perhaps do a brief stretch routine at a set time to re-energize. This kind of reset helps break the day into 2 shifts, making the post-lunch period feel like a fresh opportunity rather than a long slog to the finish line. By consciously rebooting your motivation midday, you can carry momentum through until evening, rather than letting your productivity peter out. This ensures that you're making the most of your entire day, not just the morning hours. As we conclude this exploration of daily motivation techniques, remember that the key is to experiment and find what works best for you. Everyone's energy patterns and motivational triggers are slightly different, so pay attention to what resonates and feels most effective in your own life. By incorporating these practices into your daily routine, you're creating a robust system for maintaining your drive and focus, even on days when your initial motivation might be low. You're essentially building a toolkit that allows you to manufacture motivation on demand, keeping your inner fire burning bright day after day. But as powerful as these daily practices are, they're just one piece of the larger motivation puzzle. In the next chapter, we'll explore a factor so influential that it can make or break your motivational efforts, no matter how strong your individual resolve might be. It's an element of your life that shapes your habits, influences your mindset, and can either propel you forward or hold you back. Are you ready to discover the hidden force that might be the key to unlocking your full potential? Chapter 7: Motivating Environment. Have you ever noticed how some spaces seem to naturally inspire creativity and productivity, while others leave you feeling drained and unmotivated? Or how certain people in your life consistently lift your spirits and drive you forward, while others seem to sap your energy and enthusiasm? These aren't coincidences. The environment you inhabit, both physical and social, plays a crucial role in shaping your motivation and, by extension, your success. In this chapter, we're going to explore a powerful truth that many overlook in their quest for achievement. Motivation isn't just an inner game. While the previous chapters have focused on internal strategies for cultivating drive and discipline, we now turn our attention outward. We'll discover how to harness the often underestimated power of your surroundings to fuel your motivation and propel you towards your goals. But what exactly do we mean by environment in this context? It's more than just the physical space you occupy. Your environment encompasses everything that surrounds you: the objects in your home or office, the layout of your workspace, the people you interact with regularly, and even the information you consume. Each of these elements can either support or hinder your motivational efforts. Think of your environment as the stage on which the drama of your life unfolds. Just as a well-designed set can enhance a theatrical performance, a thoughtfully crafted environment can amplify your motivation and make your journey towards your goals smoother and more enjoyable. The impact of our surroundings on our behavior is rooted in the fascinating concept of cue conditioning. Our brains are constantly forming associations between our environment and our actions. If you always relax on the couch, your brain starts to associate that piece of furniture with relaxation. Similarly, if you consistently use your desk for focused work, simply sitting at that desk can trigger a productive mindset. This phenomenon explains why it can be challenging to work efficiently from your bed or to relax fully in your office chair. Your brain has formed strong associations with these spaces, and breaking out of those mental patterns requires conscious effort. Understanding this principle of cue conditioning allows us to intentionally design our environment to support our goals. By creating dedicated spaces for specific activities and consistently using them for their intended purpose, we can train our brains to automatically shift into the right mindset when we enter those spaces. But the influence of our environment goes beyond these simple associations. The field of behavioral economics has introduced us to the concept of choice architecture, the idea that the way options are presented to us can dramatically affect our decisions. In a cafeteria, for example, placing healthier options at eye level and less healthy choices in less accessible spots can significantly impact people's food choices without them even realizing it. We can apply this same principle to our personal environments. By making the tools and resources for our desired habits easily accessible and visible, while hiding or removing temptations and distractions, we can nudge ourselves towards better choices without having to rely solely on willpower. Our social environment is equally, if not more, influential. The people we surround ourselves with have a profound impact on our attitudes, behaviors, and even our ambitions. This is partly due to the phenomenon of social facilitation, the tendency for the presence of others to improve our performance on simple or well-learned tasks. It's why many people find they can focus better in a library or a busy cafe than alone at home. Moreover, behaviors and emotions can be contagious within social networks. Research has shown that habits like exercise routines, eating patterns, and even levels of motivation can spread through friend groups and communities. This social contagion effect means that surrounding yourself with motivated, goal-oriented individuals can naturally elevate your own drive and ambition. The power of social influence extends to the concept of peer accountability. We're more likely to stick to our commitments when we know others are aware of our goals and are expecting us to follow through. This is why having an accountability partner or being part of a supportive group can significantly boost our chances of success. Given these powerful environmental influences, it becomes clear that shaping our surroundings intentionally is not just helpful, it's essential for sustained motivation and achievement. By engineering our environment to support our goals, we can create a tailwind that propels us forward, making it easier to stay on track, even when our internal motivation fluctuates. Let's start by focusing on how to optimize your physical space to boost focus, inspiration, and good habits. One of the most effective strategies is to create dedicated spaces for specific activities. If possible, designate a particular area. It could be a desk, a corner of a room, or an entire room if you have the space, strictly for work, study, or goal-related activities. Keep leisure activities like watching TV or lounging to different areas. This separation serves a crucial purpose. It trains your brain to associate that specific space with productivity. Over time, simply entering that space or sitting at that desk will trigger a work-oriented mindset, making it easier to focus and get things done. It's like creating a Pavlovian response for productivity. Conversely, avoid working in spaces you associate with relaxation, like your bed or the couch. Doing so can create mixed signals for your brain, leading to procrastination when you're trying to work or stress when you're trying to relax in those spaces. If you have the room, consider setting up small dedicated areas for other key habits you want to cultivate. For instance, you might create a fitness corner with your exercise equipment always ready to use, or a writing nook with your journal and pens at hand. The convenience and context of these micro-environments reduce the friction to start those activities. You see the space and feel naturally drawn to use it. In cases where space is limited, such as in a studio apartment, you can still create distinct zones through clever use of furniture arrangement, lighting, or even your body posture. Sitting at a table might signal work time, while lounging on the bed indicates relaxation or reading time. Once you've established these dedicated spaces, the next step is to remove friction for good habits. Ensure that whatever you need to perform your positive habits or work is easily accessible. If you want to read more, keep books on your nightstand. If you're learning an instrument, keep it on a stand in a visible area, not tucked away in a closet. When everything you need is within arm's reach, you're more likely to start the task without excuses or the hassle of setup. Technology can be a powerful ally in this effort. Put the apps or documents you need for your work in obvious places on your computer or phone home screen. Use automation tools or shortcuts to remove repetitive setup steps for tasks. The fewer clicks or actions required to start working on your goal, the better. Each removed step is one less opportunity for distraction or procrastination. Don't underestimate the power of environmental reminders. Place subtle triggers in your space that remind or encourage desired behaviors. If you're learning a new language, you might stick Post-it notes with new vocabulary around your living space. If you're working on a big project, keep a visual representation of your goal where you can see it regularly. These cues make good habits the easy default that your environment constantly suggests to you. Just as important as facilitating good habits is adding friction to bad ones. If you find yourself wasting time on your phone, keep it in another room or at least out of sight during focus time. For digital distractions, consider using website blocking software or logging out of social media accounts so that accessing them requires extra effort. For habits you're trying to break, implement environment tweaks that impose a slight delay before indulgence. This pause can be enough for your conscious brain to kick in and ask, "Do I really want to do this now?" Often, this moment of reflection is all it takes to prevent automatic, undesired behaviors. Beyond functionality, strive to make your environment inspirational. Surround yourself with items and images that uplift and motivate you. This could be a vision board with pictures representing your goals, motivational quotes on the wall, or mementos of past achievements. On tough days, A single glance at these inspiring elements can recenter your focus on your why and reignite your motivation. Pay attention to the atmosphere of your space as well. Good lighting, particularly natural light if possible, can significantly improve mood and alertness. Ensure your work area is comfortable and ergonomically sound. Physical discomfort can be a subtle but persistent drain on motivation. The goal is to create an environment that makes you feel good spending time in it, one that energizes and inspires you. While personal tolerance for clutter varies, generally a tidy environment is more conducive to clear thinking. Clutter can cause low-level stress or overwhelm, subtly sapping your mental energy. Develop a habit of quick cleanups, perhaps ending each day by clearing your desk. Starting your day in an organized space can give you a sense of control and readiness, boosting your motivation to tackle the tasks ahead. As crucial as your physical environment is, your social environment can be even more influential in shaping your motivation and success. The people you surround yourself with have a profound impact on your mindset, habits, and ambitions. Therefore, being deliberate about the company you keep is essential for maintaining high levels of motivation. Seek out positive influences, people who have achieved what you aspire to or who consistently exhibit qualities you admire, such as discipline, positivity, or creativity. If possible, spend time with these individuals. If direct interaction isn't feasible, consume their content through books, blogs, or talks. Their perspectives and habits can rub off on you, elevating your own standards and motivation. Consider finding a mentor, someone who's further along the path you're traveling. A good mentor can provide guidance, encouragement, and hold you to high standards, all of which can significantly boost your motivation and accelerate your progress. Surrounding yourself with motivated peers is equally important. If you're working on fitness goals, join a running club or workout class where others are enthusiastic about health and exercise. If you're an entrepreneur, seek out entrepreneurship meetups or online communities. When you're consistently in the company of driven individuals, staying motivated becomes the norm rather than the exception. It feels natural to push for progress when everyone around you is doing the same. Don't underestimate the power of encouragers in your life. Identify friends or family members who are naturally supportive and believe in your goals. Share your aspirations with them and keep them updated on your progress. Their encouragement and verbal support can be incredibly motivating, especially on days when you doubt yourself. Accountability structures can be powerful tools for maintaining motivation. Find an accountability partner, someone with similar goals, or simply someone willing to hold you to your commitments. Agree to regular check-ins, whether it's daily texts or weekly calls. The reciprocal nature of this relationship means you motivate each other. Knowing that someone else is counting on you to follow through can provide that extra push on days when your personal motivation is lagging. Consider joining or forming a mastermind or support group focused on personal development or a specific goal. Meeting regularly with a small group to share wins, set goals, and discuss challenges creates a sense of community in your journey. The social pressure of not wanting to report failure to the group can be a powerful motivator, and the collective brainstorming can help solve issues that might be demotivating you. Some people find public accountability effective. This might involve using social media or a blog to publicly track progress on a goal. The expectation of an audience, even a small one, can drive consistency. There's a psychological effect where once we declare we will do something publicly, we feel a stronger duty to follow through to avoid losing face. However, use this strategy judiciously. The goal is to use it for positive accountability, not to become dependent on external praise for motivation. While building a supportive social circle is crucial, it's equally important to minimize negative influences. Not everyone in your life will be supportive of your goals and ambitions. Learn to recognize motivation vampires, those who consistently drain your enthusiasm or undermine your confidence. This might be the chronic naysayer who dismisses your goals as unrealistic, the pessimist who only points out potential pitfalls, or the friend who always encourages you to skip your commitments in favor of less productive activities. Dealing with these negative influences requires tact and sometimes difficult decisions. Start by setting boundaries. Limit the time you spend with particularly negative individuals, or steer conversations away from your goals if certain people tend to be discouraging. In some cases, you might need to have an honest conversation, explaining how their attitude affects you and asking for their support, or at least their neutrality. In extreme cases, where someone consistently sabotages your mindset and efforts, it might be necessary to distance yourself from them or even phase them out of your inner circle. This can be challenging, especially if it involves long-standing relationships, but remember that your environment plays a crucial role in your success and well-being. Don't forget that your information diet, the content you regularly consume, is also part of your social environment. If you find that scrolling through certain social media feeds or news sources leaves you feeling drained or cynical, it might be time to curate your input. Unfollow or mute sources that consistently bring you down, and instead seek out content that inspires, educates, or motivates you. In effect, create a virtual social circle of positive influence. While we often think of peer pressure negatively, it can be a powerful motivator when aligned with your goals. Engage in friendly competition if it suits your personality. Challenge a colleague to see who can complete more tasks in a week, or join a reading challenge group. These low-stakes competitions can inject excitement into your routine and push you to try harder than you might alone. Just ensure that the competition remains friendly and focused on mutual improvement rather than ego. Social commitments can also be highly motivating. Sign up for events or projects that require you to show up for others. This could be registering for a race with friends, committing to a group presentation, or joining a volunteer project. Knowing that others are counting on your participation can be a powerful motivator to prepare and show up at your best. The motivating force of team spirit shouldn't be underestimated. When you're part of a team working towards a common goal, whether it's a work project, a volunteer event, or a sports team, the shared purpose and camaraderie can drive you to put in extra effort. The theory of social facilitation suggests that simply having others working alongside you can boost your performance on straightforward tasks. Learning and sharing knowledge can also be a potent source of motivation. Consider teaching what you learn to others. This could involve starting a blog about your journey, helping a friend get started with something you've mastered, or giving presentations on your area of expertise. Teaching others not only solidifies your own understanding and commitment, but also provides a sense of progress and mastery that can be highly motivating. If possible, find opportunities to mentor others who are a few steps behind you on a similar path. Being a role model creates an internal pressure to uphold the standards you preach, motivating you to demonstrate the qualities and habits you're advocating in your own life. Collaborative learning environments can also keep your motivation high. Start or join a study group or Skillshare club in your area of interest. When you regularly discuss and learn in a group setting, you stay engaged with the subject matter and benefit from the diverse perspectives and ideas of others. This social aspect can introduce new sparks of motivation and break the isolation that sometimes makes long-term goals feel tedious. Public accountability, beyond just your immediate social circle, can provide another layer of motivation. Consider joining community or online challenges related to your goals. These often come with public forums for reporting progress and connecting with other participants. The combination of community support, deadline pressure, and public commitment can push you to complete the challenge, building both your confidence and motivation. If you're comfortable with it, share your journey more broadly, perhaps through social media or a blog. While it's important not to become overly dependent on external validation, occasional encouragement from a wider audience can provide a motivational boost, especially on tough days. As you cultivate a more motivating environment and social circle, you'll likely find that your relationships become more rewarding overall. Working alongside supportive, driven people or bonding over shared self-improvement goals creates positive emotions and memories. This means you begin to associate your hard work and aspirations with friendship, happiness, and a sense of belonging, powerful motivators in themselves. Remember, shaping your environment for motivation is an ongoing process. As your goals evolve and your circumstances change, be prepared to reassess and adjust your surroundings accordingly. The key is to create an ecosystem, both physical and social, that naturally supports your ambitions and consistently nudges you towards positive action. By intentionally crafting your environment in this way, you're not just relying on willpower or fleeting bursts of inspiration. You're creating a foundation that continually reinforces your motivation, making it easier to stay on track, even when faced with challenges or temporary dips in enthusiasm. As powerful as environmental design can be, it's just one piece of the motivation puzzle. In the next chapter, we'll explore a critical skill that can make the difference between giving up when things get tough and pushing through to breakthrough success. It's an ability that separates those who achieve their dreams from those who fall short, no matter how promising their start. Are you ready to discover the secret weapon of unwavering achievers? Chapter 8: Overcoming Slumps. Have you ever felt like you're running on empty, your once burning enthusiasm reduced to a flicker? Or perhaps you've hit a wall in your progress, feeling stuck and unsure how to move forward. If so, you're not alone. These experiences are not just common, they're an inevitable part of any meaningful journey towards your goals. In this chapter, we're going to explore a critical skill that separates those who achieve their dreams from those who fall short: the ability to overcome slumps and setbacks. This isn't just about bouncing back, it's about emerging stronger, more resilient, and even more motivated than before. But before we dive into strategies, let's address a fundamental truth that many overlook. Slumps are normal. They're not a sign of failure or inadequacy. In fact, they're often a signal that you're pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone, stretching towards new heights of achievement. Think of motivation like a wave. It has peaks and troughs, rises and falls. No one, no matter how successful or driven, feels 100% motivated all the time. Understanding this cyclical nature of motivation is the first step in learning how to navigate its ebbs and flows. Consider the journey of any long-term goal. Whether it's training for a marathon, writing a book, or building a business, there will inevitably be periods where your drive dips. Marathon runners often hit the wall mid-race, a point where continuing feels almost impossible. Writers frequently struggle with middle chapters, losing steam as the initial excitement of their idea fades. Students often experience burnout midway through a semester, questioning their choices and abilities. These dips aren't just common, they're part of the process. Knowing this can help reduce the panic or self-doubt that often accompanies a motivational slump. Instead of seeing it as a failure, you can recognize it as a natural phase of your journey, one that you can and will overcome. It's also crucial to acknowledge that external setbacks happen. Life doesn't pause while you pursue your goals. Illness, family issues, global events, these can all temporarily derail your progress or dampen your motivation. The key is not to blame yourself for these unforeseen challenges. Everyone deals with unexpected obstacles. It's how you respond to them that matters. When you find yourself in a slump, and you will, the first step is to recognize and label it for what it is. Notice the signs: a lack of enthusiasm for tasks you usually enjoy, increased procrastination, stalled progress. But here's the crucial part. While it's important to assess the situation, avoid obsessing over it. A slump is a temporary state, not a permanent condition. Avoid catastrophizing thoughts like, "I'll never be motivated again," or "this proves I'm not cut out for this." Instead, reframe your thinking. "I'm in a bit of a low period, but it will pass," or "I can work through it." This shift in perspective is subtle but powerful. It acknowledges the reality of your current state while maintaining hope and agency. Now, let's talk about a quality that's essential for overcoming slumps: grit. Psychologist Angela Duckworth defines grit as passion and perseverance for long-term goals. It's the ability to stick with your plans and keep working towards your objectives, especially when faced with challenges and failures. Grit isn't about never feeling discouraged or tired. It's about what you do when those feelings arise. It's choosing to continue working on your goal even and especially when you don't feel like it. This commitment to yourself, this decision to persist regardless of your momentary emotions, is what carries you through the low points. One way to cultivate grit is to maintain a long-term vision. When you're in the depths of a slump, it's easy to lose sight of why you started on this path in the first place. Gritty individuals remain connected to their long-term purpose, which pulls them through short-term difficulties. If you can remember why you began this journey and what you ultimately want to achieve, it becomes easier to tolerate the current discomfort. Consider making a pre-commitment to yourself. Decide in advance that no matter how you feel next week or next month, you will not give up on your goal for a certain period. This pre-decision can carry you through emotional lows, providing a structure to lean on when your feelings might otherwise lead you astray. It's also helpful to remember that behind every success story are moments of doubt and failure. What often separates those who achieve their goals from those who don't is simply that the achievers kept going when others stopped. They found ways to reframe their failures as steps towards success, viewing setbacks as learning opportunities rather than reasons to quit. When setbacks occur, and they will, your mindset becomes crucial. One of the most powerful approaches is to focus on what you can control. In any situation, no matter how dire, there are always elements within your influence. Identify these and direct your energy towards them. For instance, if you've failed at a task, you can't change that outcome now, but you can control how you prepare for the next attempt. You can seek help, adjust your strategy, or invest more time in practice. The very act of listing out actions you can take, no matter how small, can rekindle your motivation by giving you a sense of agency and direction. Another key mindset shift involves how you explain setbacks to yourself. Psychologists call this your explanatory style, and it has a significant impact on your resilience and motivation. An optimistic explanatory style frames setbacks as temporary. This is a rough week, but next week can be better. Specific, this one area needs work, it's not everything. And changeable, what went wrong were techniques I used, which I can learn to do differently, not an inherent flaw in me. This framing maintains your self-belief and motivation to try again. It acknowledges the reality of the setback without turning it into a sweeping judgment about your abilities or worth. It keeps the door open for improvement and future success. Self-compassion is another crucial element in maintaining motivation through tough times. Many people fall into the trap of harsh self-criticism during slumps, berating themselves with thoughts like "I'm lazy" or "I'm a failure." But research shows that this approach is counterproductive. People who practice self-compassion actually recover from setbacks faster and maintain higher levels of motivation. Try this. When you're struggling, imagine what you'd say to a good friend in the same situation. Chances are you'd be encouraging and understanding. You'd remind them of their strengths and past successes. You'd acknowledge the difficulty of what they're attempting. Extend this same kindness to yourself. Recognize that you're doing something challenging, and it's okay to falter sometimes. This self-compassionate approach doesn't mean making excuses. It means treating yourself with the same respect and care you'd offer a valued friend or colleague. Now, let's explore some specific tactics for pulling yourself out of a slump and reigniting your drive. One of the most powerful is to reconnect with your why, your original motivation for pursuing this goal. Take a moment to vividly imagine achieving your goal in the future. What does it look like? How will you feel? Who else benefits? Spend a few minutes reliving the excitement you had when you first started. This visualization exercise can revive dormant motivation by making the reward feel real and immediate again. If you wrote a mission statement or listed reasons for pursuing your goal earlier in your journey, go back and read them. If you didn't, take the time to write them down now. Ask yourself, why does this goal matter to me? How will my life be better if I reach it? Seeing these reasons on paper can rekindle your emotional drive and remind you that the current struggle is worth it in the grand scheme of things. Sometimes, an external perspective can reignite your internal fire. Consider reaching out to someone who inspires you, a friend, mentor, or colleague who knows your aspirations and believes in you. Discussing your vision and even your current slump with someone supportive can refresh your own belief and excitement. They might remind you of how far you've come or capabilities you've forgotten, providing a motivational boost when you need it most. While reconnecting with your why is crucial, it's also important to take a practical approach to addressing what's causing your motivational dip. Start by trying to identify the root cause of your slump. Are you physically exhausted, mentally bored, overwhelmed by the complexity of your task, disheartened by a lack of visible results? Pinpointing the main issue is key because different causes require different solutions. If you're physically exhausted, the solution might involve rest and recovery. If you're bored, you might need to introduce new challenges or variety into your routine. If you're overwhelmed, breaking your task into smaller, more manageable parts could help. If you're disheartened by a lack of results, setting interim milestones or seeking feedback on your progress might be the answer. Once you've identified the cause, brainstorm ways to adjust your approach. Remember, a slump often signals that something needs to change in your method, not necessarily that your goal is wrong. Be open to tweaking your strategy. If one approach isn't working, try another. Flexibility and adaptability are key traits of those who successfully navigate the ups and downs of long-term goal pursuit. Sometimes, setting a mini goal can be an effective way to pull yourself out of a slump. Create a short-term target that's relatively easy to achieve or just different from what you've been doing. This fresh, attainable goal can generate a sense of purpose and urgency that breaks the inertia of your slump. Achieving this mini goal gives you a confidence boost and can create momentum to tackle your larger objectives. There are times when what you really need is an injection of inspiration from outside sources. Consider immersing yourself in content that aligns with your goals and aspirations. Read books, articles, or listen to podcasts about people who have overcome similar challenges or achieved what you're working towards. Watching interviews or documentaries about successful individuals in your field can reignite your passion and remind you of what's possible. Changing your environment and surrounding yourself with new energy can also be tremendously helpful. Attend a workshop, seminar, or meetup related to your goal. The act of learning something new or simply being in a group of like-minded individuals can spark fresh ideas and excitement. It breaks the monotony of working alone and can remind you of the bigger community or purpose surrounding your goal. Paradoxically, sometimes the best way to regain motivation is to step away briefly. If you've been grinding nonstop and feel burnt out, allow yourself a short, intentional break from your goal. Do something completely different that relaxes or excites you. Engage in a hobby, take a nature walk, or spend time with friends. Often, when you return, you'll find you have a fresh mind and a restored desire to engage with your work. The key is to plan this break intentionally with a clear point at which you'll resume your efforts. This way, it becomes a strategic rejuvenation rather than an abandonment of your goals. While these strategies can help you overcome slumps when they occur, it's equally important to focus on preventing burnout in the first place. One of the most crucial elements in maintaining long-term motivation is understanding the importance of rest. Many driven individuals make the mistake of viewing rest as the enemy of productivity, but in reality, it's an integral part of sustainable high performance. Think of human productivity like interval training. Periods of intense focus and effort should be followed by periods of rest and recovery. Constant work without breaks leads to diminishing returns and increases the risk of burnout. Implement work-rest cycles in your routine. This might mean taking weekends off or at least one day a week away from your main goal-related tasks. If a complete day off isn't possible due to your current circumstances, plan for a recovery period after an intense work sprint. Knowing that rest is coming can actually help you stay motivated to push hard during your work periods. Quality sleep is another major factor in maintaining motivation and willpower. When you're sleep deprived, you're more irritable, your decision-making suffers, and tasks feel much harder than they actually are. Make getting sufficient sleep a non-negotiable part of your routine. It's much easier to stay motivated when you're not constantly running on fumes. Consider establishing a calming pre-sleep routine to improve your sleep quality. This might involve avoiding screens late at night, reading fiction, or practicing relaxation techniques. If your schedule and circumstances allow, don't underestimate the power of longer breaks like vacations or staycations. Stepping away from your work entirely for a week, or even a few days if a week isn't possible, can lead to surprising creative insights and a renewed drive when you return. Many people find they actually miss their work after a true break, which is a healthy sign of restored intrinsic motivation. Remember that motivation isn't just about your mind, it's intimately connected to your overall well-being. Regular exercise, even moderate activity, can greatly boost your mood and stress resilience thanks to the release of endorphins and other beneficial neurochemicals. When your body feels good, your mind is sharper and more optimistic, feeding into better motivation. Treat physical activity as an integral part of your motivation strategy, not as something separate from your goals. Mental health and stress management are equally crucial. Chronic, unmanaged stress is a motivation killer, leading to exhaustion and apathy over time. Incorporate stress reduction practices into your routine. This might include mindfulness meditation, which has been shown to increase focus and reduce anxiety even with just 10 minutes of daily practice. Journaling can be a powerful tool for venting frustrations and solving emotional roadblocks. And never underestimate the value of talking to a supportive friend or professional about your stress. Keeping your mental state balanced ensures that stress doesn't accumulate to a burnout level. Amidst all your goal striving, don't forget to have fun. Engage in hobbies or activities that are purely enjoyable, with no performance pressure attached. While it might seem unrelated to your goals, joy replenishes your emotional reserves. Whether it's playing a sport casually, creating art, or enjoying video games in moderation, doing things that make you happy fosters a positive outlook that carries over to your more serious pursuits. If all of life becomes nothing but grinding toward goals, motivation will inevitably drain. Fun isn't frivolous, it's fuel for your long-term drive. As you progress on your journey, it's important to recognize when changes are needed to stay motivated. Learn to identify the signs of burnout: extreme exhaustion, cynicism, feeling like nothing matters or will work out, and a decreased ability to perform tasks you used to handle easily. If you notice these symptoms, it's a serious signal that something needs to change. Either more rest is required, or perhaps your approach or even your goal itself might need rethinking. It's possible that sometimes motivation slumps persist because a goal has lost meaning for you or your circumstances have changed significantly. In these cases, it's okay, even necessary, to reevaluate. Ask yourself, does this goal still align with my values and current life situation? If not, maybe your why has shifted, and it could be time to set a new goal that excites you more. This isn't failure, it's growth and a sign that you're finding a path that genuinely motivates you. Finally, embrace the concept of Kaizen, or continuous improvement. Whenever you overcome a slump, take time to analyze what you learned from the experience. How can you adjust your systems to prevent similar slumps in the future? Over time, you'll become increasingly skilled at managing your motivation because you're constantly refining your strategies. Each challenge you face and overcome actually increases your resilience and expands your toolkit for dealing with future obstacles. This perspective transforms how you view slumps and setbacks. Instead of fearing them, you begin to see them as opportunities for growth and improvement. You become, in a sense, anti-fragile, actually benefiting from stress and challenges rather than merely resisting them. This outlook makes you less afraid of future slumps because you know that not only will you overcome them, but you'll emerge stronger and more capable on the other side. As we conclude this exploration of overcoming slumps, Remember that the ability to maintain motivation through ups and downs is a skill, one that you can develop and refine over time. By anticipating slumps, cultivating grit, maintaining a growth mindset, and implementing smart strategies for both recovery and prevention, you're equipping yourself with the tools to turn potential motivation killers into opportunities for growth and renewed drive. But as crucial as resilience is, there's one more element that can elevate your motivation to unprecedented levels. In the next chapter, we'll explore a concept so powerful that it can transform your entire approach to goal achievement. It's a perspective shift that turns motivation from a finite resource into an infinite wellspring. Are you ready to discover the secret to limitless drive? Chapter 9, Infinite Drive. As we reach the final chapter of our journey together, it's time to step back and view the bigger picture. We've explored numerous strategies and techniques for cultivating and maintaining motivation, but now we face a crucial question. How do we weave all these elements into a cohesive, sustainable approach that will serve us not just for the next few weeks or months, but for a lifetime? This chapter is about more than just summarizing what we've learned. It's about transforming motivation from a fleeting state or a set of techniques into a fundamental part of who you are. It's about creating a lifestyle of continuous growth, regular self-reflection, and adaptability that keeps your drive not just alive, but truly infinite. Let's begin by considering the concept of self-actualization, famously described by psychologist Abraham Maslow as the pinnacle of human needs. This idea suggests that once our basic needs are met, we have an innate drive to grow, to become the best version of ourselves, to fulfill our potential. This drive, when tapped into, can become an inexhaustible source of motivation. But how do we access this wellspring of motivation? One powerful framework comes from the Japanese concept of ikigai, which roughly translates to reason for being. Ikigai is often depicted as the intersection of four elements: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. When your daily life aligns with your ikigai, motivation becomes less of a struggle and more of a natural state of being. Consider for a moment, what activities make you lose track of time? What skills come naturally to you? What problems in the world deeply move you? How might you combine these elements in a way that not only sustains you financially, but also fills you with a sense of purpose? The answers to these questions can guide you towards a life of sustained motivation and fulfillment. Another key to maintaining infinite drive is embracing lifelong learning. Those who remain curious, who continually seek out new challenges and knowledge, tend to stay motivated and mentally young, regardless of their chronological age. Learning keeps our minds engaged, provides a sense of progress, and opens up new possibilities that can reignite our passion when old goals have been achieved. It's also important to recognize that our motivations naturally shift as we move through different life stages. What drives us in our 20s might be very different from what motivates us in our 40s or 60s. This isn't a flaw, it's a feature of a rich, evolving life. The key is to regularly reassess and realign our goals with our current values and circumstances. Now, let's talk about how to integrate all the strategies we've discussed into a cohesive, personalized approach. I encourage you to develop a written, personal motivation plan. This isn't just another to-do list, it's your blueprint for sustained drive and fulfillment. Start by reviewing the key pillars we've covered: purpose, your why; goals, clear and aligned with your values; mindset, growth-oriented and optimistic; habits, daily routines that support your objectives; environment, both physical spaces and social circles that nurture your motivation; and resilience, strategies for recovery and adapting to setbacks. For each of these pillars, identify one or two strategies that resonated most strongly with you. Perhaps for purpose, you commit to reading your mission statement every morning. For goals, you might decide to set and review quarterly milestones. Under mindset, you could focus on reframing negative self-talk when you catch it. The key is to choose approaches that feel authentic and doable for you. Once you've crafted this plan, write it down and keep it somewhere visible. Think of it as an owner's manual for your motivation. When you feel your drive flagging, you can consult this document to see if you've been neglecting any crucial aspect of your motivational ecosystem. But a plan is only as good as its execution, which is why routine self-reflection is crucial. Set aside time regularly, perhaps weekly or monthly, to check in with yourself. How has your motivation been? When did you feel most driven, and when did you struggle? Did you stick to your habits and routines? What victories did you achieve, and did you take the time to celebrate them? Use these reflections to make adjustments. Maybe a particular reward isn't as motivating as it once was, or a new distraction has crept into your environment. By being proactive and tweaking your approach, you ensure that your motivation strategies remain effective even as your life evolves. Over time, you'll likely start to notice patterns in your motivation. Perhaps you tend to slump during certain seasons or in response to specific types of challenges. This self-awareness is incredibly powerful. It means fewer surprises and a greater sense of control. Knowing that you understand your own rhythms and have strategies to manage them becomes a source of confidence that fuels steady drive. As you work on maintaining your motivation, remember the importance of holistic life balance. While it's admirable to be driven, becoming obsessed with a single goal can lead to burnout and neglect of other important areas of life. Allocate time for relationships, hobbies, and rest. This balance not only prevents your primary goals from becoming sources of stress, but also keeps your life satisfying overall, which in turn feeds back into your motivation. Strive to align all aspects of your life, work, personal projects, and even leisure, with your core values and interests. When everything you do reflects who you are and who you want to be, you generate a constant undercurrent of motivation. Life feels purposeful in all dimensions, creating a synergy that propels you forward. Don't forget to celebrate your growth along the way. We humans have a tendency to quickly move on to the next goal without fully acknowledging our achievements. Take time to regularly reflect on the progress you've made, not just what's left to do. This could involve journaling your accomplishments, sharing them with loved ones, or treating yourself when you reach milestones. A life lived celebrating progress is inherently motivating because you constantly feel the payoff of your efforts. To keep your motivation fresh over the long term, it's crucial to maintain a lifelong growth mindset. Always have a goal on the horizon. Be wary of the arrival fallacy, the letdown some people feel after achieving a big goal and suddenly having nothing to strive for. After accomplishing something significant, take time to savor it, but then set a new goal or take your existing goal to the next level. Diversify your goals across different areas of life. Perhaps your career goals are well established. Consider setting personal development goals, relationship goals, or fun bucket list type goals. This way, there's always something in some domain of your life to be excited about. If one area hits a plateau, you can ramp up focus on another, maintaining your overall sense of growth and progress. Cultivate a mix of short-term and long-term aspirations. The short-term goals keep your day-to-day life interesting and provide frequent wins, while the long-term goals give you a sense of direction and deeper meaning. When you achieve or outgrow your long-term goals, don't hesitate to update them. The key is to never stop dreaming or planning for the future. This forward-looking mindset keeps the spark of motivation alive at every age. Embrace continuous learning as a lifestyle. Regularly pick up new skills or explore new subjects, even if they're not directly related to your main goals or career. This novelty stimulates your brain and can often cross-pollinate into other areas of your life in unexpected ways. Learning keeps you humble, maintains your growth mindset, and turns life into an ongoing adventure rather than a chore. Stay curious about the world around you. Ask questions, explore new places, try new technologies or methods in your work. Curiosity is essentially self-driven motivation to learn. The more you practice being curious, the more naturally motivated you become to engage with the world. As you move through life, major transitions like graduation, career changes, marriage, parenthood, or retirement can shift your priorities and available time or energy. Use these junctures as opportunities to pause and re-clarify your why. Allow yourself to form new dreams that suit your new phase of life rather than clinging to goals that may no longer fit. Remember, motivation can wane if you're chasing an outdated dream. Your identity and what motivates you will naturally evolve over the years, and that's healthy. Someone who was driven by competition in their youth might find themselves more motivated by contribution in midlife. Embrace these changes and update your motivation plan accordingly. The core practices we've discussed still apply, but their specific manifestations in your life will evolve. As you progress in your journey of infinite drive, you may find that your motivation increasingly comes from helping others. Consider how you can use your skills and success to elevate those around you, whether through teaching, mentoring, or volunteering. Many people find that as they advance in life, extrinsic goals like earnings or titles become less important, while the ability to contribute or mentor provides a strong motivation to continue excelling. By following the practices we've discussed and achieving personal success, you put yourself in a position to inspire others, your family, friends, or community. Embrace this role. It can be a powerful motivator to maintain high standards. Knowing that you're setting a positive example, showing others what's possible, can drive you to keep growing and achieving. You might even channel your motivation into building something that will outlast you. A community initiative, a company with a strong mission, or a body of work that will continue to impact others. This turns personal motivation into a collective legacy, providing a powerful sense of meaning that can fuel sustained effort for years to come. Ultimately, the deepest, most sustainable source of motivation comes from living in alignment with your core values and purpose. When your actions consistently match your beliefs and values, you experience a state of harmony that naturally boosts motivation because there's no inner conflict draining you. You succeed on your own terms, which is deeply satisfying and self-reinforcing. A life driven by purpose, not just goals for their own sake, creates its own motivational energy. When you're guided by the legacy you want to leave or the impact you want to have, that sense of purpose can drive you even in the absence of immediate recognition or reward. It becomes a self-fueling fire that can truly last a lifetime. As we conclude this journey together, I want you to realize something profound. Motivation is not some fickle force that you must wait for or chase. It's something you can generate and regenerate through the mindsets and actions we've explored. You carry the keys to your own motivation. Your potential is truly in your hands. Embrace this journey of sustained motivation. There will be ups and downs, but now you have the tools to navigate them. Learn to enjoy the process of growth itself, not just the outcomes. When you find joy in the journey, motivation becomes far more consistent because every day has value, not just the day you reach a goal. Imagine the life that awaits you with truly infinite drive, waking up each day with a sense of purpose, tackling challenges with confidence, inspiring those around you, continually growing and evolving, and achieving meaningful goals one after another, all while feeling energized and true to yourself. But how do you translate this newfound motivation into tangible daily results? What if there was a way to ensure that every single day became a powerful stepping stone towards your dreams? The key lies in mastering the art of daily execution. To truly unlock the full potential of your infinite drive, I invite you to explore the audiobook Master Your Day, Plan, Execute, Achieve. It's the essential companion to your motivation journey, providing the practical tools to turn your drive into daily success. Tap the center of the video now to continue your transformation journey.